says a monster, 22-inch, which is absolutely phenomenal horn on a rhino. And they said, we'll save it for you because I'm going back in May if we don't have any poaching attempts. But if we have poaching attempts, we've got to take it. We'll just have to,
Oh, so they don't lose it.
So they don't lose it. Because that's, we're talking about a very valuable animal. Yeah. And anyway, so he called me up. He said, we've had 2 poaching attempts. Do you know anybody? And they're trying. So we found a guy. He jumped on a plane. He flew over and he got him.
How about that? Now they're able to take it.
Once they get a certain age, they have to take them because they're nothing but an absolute nuisance and they can't breed anymore. And they're just trying to kill all the young bulls.
And go ahead and get the money.
Yeah.
For it.
Right.
I see. I didn't realize that.
What animal are we talking about?
Rhino.
A rhinoceros.
I've got, and everybody goes, oh, I want you green score one. Darting one and petting him.
Well,
is
there an animal that you hadn't killed yet in Africa? I'm assuming a rhino.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Black giraffe.
Black giraffe.
A black giraffe.
Yeah, that's what if we can find one this trip, since I can't do the rhino, I'm going to do a black giraffe.
What's the difference between a black giraffe and
an orange?
Yeah.
Orange. He looks the same, except he's black where
the orange.
Yeah, they're just.
It's like
I've never heard of that.
Is that a
melanistic or whatever?
Melanistic trait? Okay.
They're rare.
Okay.
I want one.
Oh, okay. So it's not it's a genetic thing. It's not another breed.
No.
I'm going to tell you what, seeing them things fight.
Oh, dude.
Oh, they're violent.
Talking about some neck breaking son of a guns.
I would not want to be.
Speaking of neck break, that's
I wouldn't want to be stomped. I wouldn't want to be stomped by one, kicked by one, or hit with a head by one.
Yeah.
Because it's over with. You're dead.
Yeah.
Or you're crushed.
They're mean.
They are. All right. Well, how about let's go ahead and get this thing rolling? What y'all boys think?
And look, we just want to know that, the cameras are, Mr. Dan, I'm going to let you, there you go. They're going to be this way.
Yep. So
which way you want to look?
Just at us.
Okay.
We're going to act like the cameras, they're not even here. Yep. So,
but I don't want to get his back all night long.
No, you're not. We got a camera right there.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. I got it. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, you're good. We'll just make sure that like the
right
mic.
hand don't know what the left hand's doing.
Act like you've been here before, bud.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We'll just, that's the only thing. Just make sure, I know it's been a minute since we've done an episode, but we'll just make sure that we keep these in close to us.
Okay.
That'll be thing. And you can hear yourself too. So like Mr. Dan, you'll know if it's close enough. If you get where you're talking and you don't hear yourself, then you got to get in just a little bit. So.
Got it.
All right. I think we need a proper introduction really quick. So Mr. Dan, go ahead and tell us your name.
Dan DeWitt.
There we go.
They call me Cuz. That's what everybody called me.
I ruined half the surprise.
Yeah, you did. Look, we've been looking forward to this for several weeks. It's been, we've had a couple of guests before that we really look forward to, but we've really looked forward to this too. So we appreciate you driving. And you drove up either Alexandria or Baton Rouge, whichever.
And I'm excited to be here. I've been wanting to do this. One of the things bad about your store is, I got a product in your store, but I've spent more money putting a product in your store.
Yeah, you have. We're into you more than you're into us.
Yeah, we got to change that. No, I'm teasing, but we've got some nice toys out of your store. And we appreciate it. My wife really has.
We appreciate it.
Yeah.
We most certainly do.
Well, if you notice, we are finally in our new studio.
Yes.
We have been working on this thing.
No, we have not done anything. You have done it all.
Well, we can,
and it does look good.
We can say we. But this is the first episode in here, and actually, it is 6:30 on Wednesday night.
Wednesday night.
This is going to go live tomorrow, Thursday.
Excellent.
So I'm going to edit it tonight, crank this thing out, get some stuff ready to go out on social media. And we're a little bit behind schedule, so we're going to go and get this one cranked out. So I'm excited about it.
Well, we finally get to talk some hunting stuff again, too. Now that we're in the middle of October, and it's time to talk hunting stuff. All that fishing and live scope, we're going to put it to rest for a minute.
Yeah, we still may go out and catch some fish, but we ain't that. Our focus has changed. Well, we can be optimistic, Richard.
Later in January, we'll swap them gears.
Well, the good thing about getting to talk hunting, you being in the hunting industry, me being in the hunting industry, shortens our hunting season. And people don't believe that, but it does.
You talk about being in the hunting industry?
Yeah.
Absolutely. If you're having to work on it all the time, you don't get to practice what you preach as much.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah, like I said, this is our first episode back, and the new episode. Didn't know you were coming. I'm stoked you're here.
No, this was a surprise to me too.
How's college?
College is college.
And what's your name, young man?
My name's Ryan. I'm the middle child of Richard. Try to keep it under wraps, but
That middle child was a tough deal.
You turned out better than any of them, though, didn't you?
I know I did.
Yeah.
Oh, my word.
Hey, and we're going to get you to Africa. We're going to get him to come off of some of that money that I've spent in his store and let you come to Africa with us.
He's going to have to recover. I spent it all on this in the last month and a half.
That's right.
He will. When my wife comes back in the store, he'll recover.
Yeah.
Well, look, Mr. Dan is, in case folks don't know, in the hunting industry, it is what it is, but he's a pretty famous guy.
I ain't nobody.
And well, to us, you are for sure. And we wanted you to come in, and I know that you have some secrets. Some of it maybe not so secret anymore, but there's some stuff that you kind of hold tight to the vest. We're gonna kind of squeeze it out of you.
Yeah, we're gonna get as much. We're gonna milk that as much as we can from you. But if y'all see everything right here on the front of this table, I mean, we have all kind of stuff. The back three is some fishing attractants and lures. If I say anything wrong, feel free to correct me. That's kind of like saying snake poison versus snake venom. So if I say the wrong thing, just let me know. We actually, your oldest, Jake, your brother, he just left a while ago. He has a good story about that. Maybe y'all can tell it here in a second. But I'm gonna tell you that Seymour deer got an incredible story for that one, and then the pink bottle of the cooter juice. I got 2 deer over 160 that it gets some credit.
You have the mock scrape one over there too?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you gonna smell it real quick?
Oh no.
You sure?
Look, that cooter juice is what got us going. And,
Oh, that's what got me going.
Well, what other thing out there's got a name like that? You know,
Well, if the name don't get them, the smell will.
that,
Ooh, what a
I
tagline!
like that right there. Absolutely.
What a
It's
tagline!
almost a household.
That'll be a TikTok deal.
It's almost a household name in Colombia now. So.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yeah, and it's not just Colombia.
No,
either.
it's
No, we've been very blessed. I looked it up today. We've now sold in 29 states through the internet, and I've gotten pictures from customers from 24 states. And then I run in when I'm on the road. Some people will walk up to me and, man, I killed a big deer with your stuff, and I'll go, well, why didn't I get a picture? Because that's what builds my business is your success. And their success and y'all's success is my success.
Well, that's the first thing that you asked me a while ago. You're like, well, where's my picture?
That is. I mean,
And it's been posted everywhere, and it's been seen, both of them. They've been seen a lot, but I need to tag you in that stuff.
I'd love it.
I'm excited about this. I'm really excited. So, one thing you said, we told several stories at the beginning a while ago. We'll be able to go back and hit on some of those. But one thing you said at the very beginning is we're not going to get into all the scientific stuff. We're just going to talk redneck. I want to hear some of the scientific stuff, and people talk redneck stuff all the time. And so there's some things we talked about, like with the numbers and just different things like that. And even some of the lab stuff, like you're not just a redneck that started mixing some, spices. And
I'm not a biologist. I'm not a chemist. I'm not claiming any of that. I just got a high school education. Well, I went to college too, and Louisiana College, but I just learned how to read. And I did an incredible amount of research. And here's the beautiful thing about it. All the research is out there for everybody to go look at. All these universities have taken millions of taxpayer dollars and like Alabama, Tennessee, Texas, all these states have incredible whitetail programs.
Mississippi State's got a good
Mississippi
one.
State,
Yeah, Mississippi State.
Right. Yep.
Mississippi State. All you got to do is go read all their science. And when you start reading the science and you put the common denominators together, you go, why isn't the industry doing this? And this is, all of our scents are based on glands, 100%. No urine, all glands. And that's what I want to educate people on. Deer do not communicate with urine. They don't. You can go get you a water bottle and fill it up and have the same effect as any deer urine on the market. Now, I'm not bashing anything because a deer will be attracted to deer urine. They'll be attracted to your urine. They'll come to bobcat urine. I make scrapes all the time with our product, Gland-based. I get bobcats, coons, deer. You get all variety of animals because it's a gland scent. Ask any trapper what a trapper uses. They use glands. They don't use pee. Yeah. And that's why I went in the gland arena, because being an outfitter and guide most of my life, I always would try different things. And believe me, I was talking to a guy on the phone coming up here a while ago, and we was talking about success ratios and stuff. I said, well, if you know anything about baseball, and I don't, but I grew up in the era where I watched Pete Rose. I knew who Hank Aaron was and Babe Ruth, and they were the most three big names in baseball, even to today, that's ever been. But their failure rate was 70%. If you go look up their numbers, they were only 300%ers, and they were the best. So if I can go out in the deer woods and I can get to 300, 400, 500% success doing something with a particular product, I'm world class in anybody's book.
Oh, that's right.
And
so it doesn't have to work every time.
It don't.
It doesn't even have to work half the time.
Nothing does. You know, if it did, wouldn't it be great if you could buy one bottle of something, go out there and make 3 sprays with it, set back, shoot a booner? Wouldn't that be awesome?
But I know for us with the stuff, it doesn't have to attract them every time. But what's important is it doesn't run them off either.
That's right. And let's talk about that. I'm gonna grab this bottle. If that's all right.
Yeah.
Seymour deer. This should be my number one selling product. It's not yet, but it should be. Let me tell you why. It's based on. I'll tell you, I got the idea for this from another company. And, well, a couple other guys. What's those guys up in the Northeast? They're legends in the hunting industry, bow hunters, recurve shooters. And they had a powder for years based on deer dander. And then Evercom come out. One of my best friends over in that part of the world is best friends with the guys that own that. And they actually discovered that product by accident and said, wait a minute. And they figured it out. They put it in like a deodorant gel thing, which I think was a very smart idea. So what I did, because I wanted that deer dander, because deer dander is the most calming thing to a white-tailed deer there is, period. Scientifically, that's a fact. You can look it up, go do the research. But deer dander is a calming thing to a deer. Now, I took it a step further. The interdigital gland is how deer track each other through the woods. So if you put that along with deer dander in a certain ratio and a gland-specific way of doing it, you can have success like your son, your brother had, and have a deer. How big was that deer he killed with this?
171 and some change.
And it walked up so close to his stand,
to the ladder.
He couldn't shoot it because it was too close. We have a lot of stories like that with this bottle. And I'll tell you this, and it ain't because I sell it, it's because way before I ever brought this to the market, and believe me, we tweaked it, tested, throwed gallons away, tweaked it, tested, throwed gallons away. When I got it the way I wanted it, I will not ever go scouting, hunting, put up cameras, going to a feeder. I don't go anywhere without this sprayed on my boots, because I want to leave that area smelling like a deer. You know, and we're going to talk about, y'all wanted to talk about deer scents and cover scents and stuff, and we can get into that with this. But if I'm going to smell like anything, I want to smell like a deer. There's nothing wrong with smelling like a pine tree or cedar bush or white oak acorn or persimmon, because all those are very nice, pleasurable smells to a whitetail's nose. But what's the most calming thing to a white-tailed deer is another deer. That's why Seymour deer.
Yeah, it's our favorite.
Oh, it's,
I know it may not be the number one seller,
without
but we do not get in the woods without it on.
I don't,
somewhere.
you know, and that's just not sales talk. I mean, that's, y'all live at reality, and y'all seen the results, and I'm glad. I want to hear your stories too about it, but
his stories were.
I didn't quite have those last 2 bucks I killed in Kansas. I didn't quite have them come to the ladder,
right.
You know, I didn't have them come right there to the base of me. But there are multiple stories. So the deer I killed 2 seasons ago, pink bottle,
Odor
juice. So I killed that deer November 10th. You know, that's just a crazy day for whitetail deer hunters. You always hear people talking about
November 4th.
November 4th, November 10th, November 16th. We're going to say no.
About the first 2 weeks of
yeah,
November.
Yeah, but November 10th, I've always heard that, you know, you're going to be in the Midwest. You're going to be up a tree November 10th. And anyhow, I just so happened to kill it. Could be coincidental.
Halloween's a good.
Yeah. But I killed that deer 2 seasons ago, and I have a Rambo bike, and I went and I just got a little drag, had some old catgut line, got a tampon, tied it to the back of it, sprayed this stuff on me. Oh, no, definitely not on me. Sprayed it on the that tampon.
On your drag.
Yep. And rode my bike literally right to the base of the blind I was hunting, little platform blind. And anyhow, I had deer coming all over me. And I had it laying in a plum thicket, right on the edge of a plum thicket, away from the food plot, and they were coming all over me.
Did you hold it with something away?
No, I had
from
like
it,
some catgut line and just tied it behind the saddlebags on that bike.
See, that's the best way to do it, because it's not just making a straight line. It's bouncing and it's more like a deer foot. You know, it's got spaces between it. Let me tell you the whole concept. I'm kind of skipping ahead, but we'll do the cootie juice. The whole concept of this is, once again, think about this. There's no urine. None of my products have urine. It's all gland-based. But think about this. When a doe goes into estrus, that's what a buck's looking for, right? He's looking for that smell. So we've intensified that smell. But here's something else he's looking for. Doesn't every gland of every female, when they go into estrus or into heat, doesn't their glands change?
I don't know. I'm assuming.
According to the
based
bio.
off your question.
I know this later on in the year that it gets. That doe has a sweet smell. It's the
vanilla.
But here's something else. Her interdigital gets stronger. So here's what I want you to think about. When that buck's running through the woods, is his head up here?
No.
Or is it on the ground?
It's on the ground.
And he just crossed 10 doe tracks in that bean field or in the woods. How does he know which one? The strongest one.
He's running that hot trail.
Smell with the estrus is what he's trying to put together. That's what he's looking for.
Is that what you were looking for when you did that?
That's what I was looking for when we got that made.
How about that? So if we go to Dan DeWitt's house or your farm, we're not going to find 50, 60 head of deer out there that you're out there.
Absolutely not.
Trying to go behind them and catch your TT when they
No, and let's talk about that. Deer will attract to urine, but you can, like I said, you can fill your own bottle up and save money, and not really be the difference. But saying that, let's back up just a second and talk about Rookham's use and why you can go pee in a scrape yourself, put deer urine in it or any other urine in it. We've done it. I've gone out and made scrapes and put coon urine in them and got bucks on film. Okay, just to show it would work. Just to show that deer do not understand the difference between urine because they don't carry around a chemistry set. But here's the difference. You can take a bottle of water, make a scrape, pour a bottle of water in it. It activates any scent that's in that dirt. Okay, so if you've got any urine or it's been there or you got any gland base in there and you just pour water on it, you just reactivated that scent to a degree. Okay, so when I make a scrape with Rookham's juice, here's what this represents. Okay, the Seymour deer represents the calming effect of a deer. The cootie juice is all about the hot interdigital with the estrus. This represents every gland of a buck. Not just his dorsal gland, not just his interdigital gland, but all of his forehead glands and his salivatory gland. So when you make a scrape with this, you're painting the picture of all the smells that a deer can find at that scrape. That's why it's been so successful. Everybody says, oh, you need to come out with a pre-orbital. You need to do this. You need to do that. I said, well, give me a few $100 million. We'll go do all that stuff. But, because they don't realize, as you do, what it takes to bring a product to market, then buy insurance and get all the attorney work done. So you can just put something at the bottom and say, hey, I've got something for sale. But when you look at the picture that this paints, pre-orbital has no scent in the ground, right?
No.
There's none. And if you use strictly a tarsal, there's no pre-orbital. But if you use it all and the right key and right promotion and right, balance of it, what people don't realize is deer invented social media. Think about it. A scrape is the social media of the whitetail world, where they come and leave their scent, their mark, their smell, which are all like our fingerprints, different. We can't determine the difference because our nose ain't that good, but they can. They know who's been there and who hadn't. And they, all of a sudden, the bucks smell another buck in their area. Here they come. The does smell, hey, there's Charlie. Who's this guy? Everybody wants to know. Well, then they start biting. They shouldn't call it a licking branch. They should call it a biting branch. Why? Do y'all know why? Because a deer don't lick it. He's got a salivatory gland between his lip and his teeth. And he chews to release that scent to put on that limb.
If he licked it, I guess the leaves would still be out there on the end of those.
Yeah.
On those.
Yeah. He bites it.
Branches.
Look at all the nibble marks on it.
Yeah.
And then he does put his pre-orbital and all of his other glands of his head in there. They put them all. And he's standing there. What's he put in there then? His interdigital. So if you paint the right picture, people go, oh, it's just another gimmick. Well, it might be, but I've got, and I can show you this on this phone. I looked this up a while ago. I got 192,000 pictures on that phone from trail cameras at scrapes.
Look, but the Rookham juice too. You can either spray it on a low hanging limb, or you can spray it on the ground. Either one.
That's right, and I do both. When I go in, and here's something else too. You know what the biggest mistake in any scent is? Mine or anybody's scent on the market. Everybody uses too much. That's the biggest mistake. I put 5 squirts on the limb, 3 to 5 on the limb, 5 or 6 in the dirt. I will not add any for 7 to 10 days. Why? I had some guys ask me the other day about drippers. If you're putting out straight urine because it's going to deteriorate extremely fast, once urines hit the air in 20 minutes, it starts breaking down. Within 2 hours, it's broke down. So you can just pour all the urine in a scrape that you want to, but you're still just putting urine in it. There's no communicational factor. But deer aren't smart, but they're not stupid. So I call it the cologne effect. If you wear a nice cologne, these college guys will know what I'm talking about. Do you wear the whole bottle, half bottle, quarter bottle, or a couple of spritz?
Just a couple of squirts on it.
Why?
Because I don't want it too strong.
You don't want to be offensive. Deer know when there's too much. Now, I had never had one tell me that. Well, we've tested
indirectly.
Yeah. Well, and I'll tell you something else too. Talking about blowing, does will blow cooter juice. Why?
Because they blow at other deer.
They blow at other deer, but they don't want to be the one getting chased. Have you ever been hunting? This has happened to me numerous times through my decades of hunting. Be sitting in a stand and a big old doe walk out in a feeding area, whether it's acorns, beans, corn, whatever. And all of a sudden she comes out for no reason and she starts blowing and stomping. And all the deer get all nervous. And then she comes out and goes eating because she run everybody else off. I've seen that more than once.
That's why we need to kill more does.
Hey, I was telling that same guy I was having that conversation on the way up here. I said, my target deer always, not this year because I couldn't walk, but my target deer opening day is always a 5-year-old doe.
Go ahead and get her a call.
Get her out the way. Get her out the way. Why? Because she's the smartest. Who taught those bucks how to be smart? She raised those deer. Yeah. She's the matriarch. You shoot, especially if you're feeding deer. If you shoot that matriarch day 1, day 2, early season, all of a sudden the deer herd is discombobulated, so to speak, because they're like trying to figure out who's going to be the, and all of a sudden you start seeing more bucks. And we've seen that time and time. I saw
hadn't
that.
thought about that.
I saw that.
But I did see a doe run 3 deer off here not too long ago.
A feed.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So she would be my number one target. Absolutely.
Huh.
And I learned a lot of that because when I had all those ranches leased in Texas and I had all those places, and you just sitting there day after day after day watching them observing deer and how they reacted. Man, I got to where every target deer I had a 5-year-old nanny in it. I mean, I wanted to shoot those deer because they were tough to kill with a bow.
And Mr. Stan, I'm going to tell you, I hadn't found a doe yet that wasn't my target doe. I'm a doe killer. I'm all about it. But you hit the nail on the head right there. We've all seen that where a deer had, they'll lay their ears back, a doe. She'll lay them back, and either she'll stand up on her hind legs and swat at them, or give a and run them off.
And they spook everything.
Made a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And those bucks are still in the wings out here, and all that is going on.
They ain't coming.
They ain't coming.
Unless it may be the rut.
Yeah, but I mean, everything. I don't care what you know about deer. Everything changes during the rut.
Yeah.
You know that. I know that because you can all of a sudden be sitting there for hours, not have seen a deer, and all of a sudden 15 bucks are chasing one doe, and you don't know what to do because it's just chaos. Mm-hmm. But you prepare for that the best you can, and the best way to prepare. The best way I tell people to prepare for the rut is be there.
Well, and that's the tough thing too, especially if you're talking about hunting, whether it's trying to catch over the Mississippi River at the right time or even in another state or something like that. We have a general idea of when those bucks are going to be rutting historically.
Sure.
It's tough though if you're talking about a week and a half, just say a 10 to 14 day window, especially if they're going to be locked down for multiple days and not moving, especially up in Kansas or places where it's wide open and not so thick. You can actually see deer. It don't matter if they're 800 or 1,000 yards away. If you see them and you watch them for a few days and they get up, don't travel very far, they go and they sit right back down with a doe. That's pretty tough. You got to catch them just right, and you have to be there.
Yeah.
Right place at the right time.
Yep. But think about Louisiana. Within 90 miles of where we sit, how many different ruts are there?
Was it?
I know
we talked about
this,
it. Was it 4 or 5?
Yeah.
Yeah. From
Red River to Mississippi.
Red River all the way to Mississippi.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
exactly
see, right now in Area 3 of Louisiana, they're fixing a rut.
Really?
Yeah.
Area 3.
Yeah.
That's South Central,
Lake
ain't it?
Charles, Calcasieu area down in there on the Texas line. And then we'll have at my stepson's place down in way below I-10. It won't happen until late January.
Yeah.
Late January, into February. Matter of fact, their season don't even close to February the 15th down there.
Really?
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, and then you got the Mississippi River, and then you got the Piney Woods rut, and then you got the North Louisiana that kind of split the difference rut. I mean, like you said, we got 5 different ruts. How do you plan for that? I think Louisiana is very unique in the fact that you can hunt 5 or 6 different ruts, and no other state can say that.
And you're right. And Kenny Dice made a good point on the podcast too. He said, you take some boys from Louisiana and you take them out of state.
We're murder.
We'll kill.
We're murder.
We can kill some stuff.
The population just went down.
Well, I mean, you think about it. You go out, and we've all hunted the Midwest. I mean, the biggest deer I ever killed was in Kansas, and you could see, if the corn wasn't standing, you could see as far as your eyes could literally see through those rolling hills out there. Killed the biggest deer of my life up there, and I made the longest. I mean, it was a tremendous shot. I shot I think he was 4 yards when I shot that deer. But to see that deer come and come and come and come, and he's walking, and I mean, I point blank shot him from me to you. I mean, it was crazy.
Now look, you've got another, and we've just kind of briefly touched on your 3. What caught our attention to old Indian tricks, but your new product that you've got,
Critter Getter.
Yeah, and look, and let me tell you,
Have you smelled this yet?
We use it. We've been using it since day. We've been using it.
Bro,
they was using it before I put it on the market.
why ain't you told?
All summer we've been using it.
I'm your marketing guy, and you ain't told me about it.
Look,
I know a guy.
Oh,
It's top secret.
I told him outside a while ago before you got here. I smelled this, and again, this is the first time that I've seen or heard of this. And I told him, I said, man, I could drink that stuff. He said, do not drink it.
Well,
but I'm telling you, it smells.
My
so
attorney
good.
my attorney looks at all my stuff and he goes, "This is what you got to have on the label, not for human consumption." Because when I first started testing it before we even designed the label or anything, I'd hand it to the guy and they'd smell it, they'd swig it. I'm like, no, don't do that. It probably won't kill you because nobody's died, but it's just not made for human consumption. Now, it does smell good enough to put on ice cream. I mean, but let's talk about what makes this different than any other attractant.
And really quick, tell us what this is.
Science behind it either.
Go ahead and tell the audience, tell the listeners what this is, the name, and tell us what you do with it.
Critter. What this is, and the best way I can explain it, and then I'll get into the science. If you smell a steak or your favorite food cooking or onions on a grill, what immediately happens to your mouth? It waters. It's a food trigger. You get hungry. I mean,
I agree.
You do. I mean, that's human, and animals are the same way. So what we've done is we took 5 different distinguishing animal food triggers, and then I covered them up so nobody could figure out what we're doing with a cherry berry smell, because cherry berry, and you can go do all the testing you want. You can use persimmon, you can use white oak, you can use apple, you can use Kool-Aid, whatever you want to do. The most attractive smell to animals, and I'm not going to say deer, I'm going to say animals, and I explain that, is cherry berry mixed.
Pull that mic in just a little bit too.
It's cherry berry mixed. That smell will outperform any other persimmon on day in and day out through all the numbers and all the testing. So that's what it's covered up with. So it smells good. You can spray it on you and it don't hurt you. But at the same time, there's different food triggers. Now, we carried this to Canada this summer because that's their spring bear hunt. We went up in June, and I showed the outfitter, and he's like, oh, my God, you're going to run all the bears off all these baits. We've been baiting all these bears. And, I said, listen, dude, I wrote the check. Okay, me and my wife are covering this. Everybody's here. We got this, we took care of this. These are our guests. And if we run every bear off up here, it's on me. But we're going to bear hunt, and every place that you've been baiting, we're going in, we're going to spray the bait, we're going to spray a tree, we're going to spray the bait, we're going to spray the tree, we're going to spray the baits, we're going to spray the tree. We killed 6 bears that week. Every bear that we shot licked the tree. Every bear. Mm. And then I sent some to another outfitter. He killed some bears on his place. Then this guy had fall bear hunters. They continued to use it during the fall, killing bears. And now I've told you about Yacht Yacht. You know who Yacht Yacht is. Did you look him up?
No, I didn't look him up.
Okay, he's got 1 jillion followers on YouTube. He's the hog guy. If you want to catch more hogs, they love it. They absolutely love it.
Holy cow.
They love it. They're catching hogs that they never could get in traps. I can give you a list of people. I can say the USDA trapper for the state of Louisiana uses it to catch hogs that nobody else can catch because they're pen shy. I can't tell you what state because of government issues, but there is a state that's using this to catch all their problem bears. I got a video I can show y'all of over 500-pound bear getting caught in a trap that they had been trying to catch for 2 months. And the first night they put that out, he was in it in 2 hours. Now, I'm not saying it's the greatest, latest thing, but bears, hogs, and deer love it.
Well, as soon as you come out with a bear deterrent in the state of Louisiana, you're going to make a quadrillion.
Well, let me tell you. Yeah, we'll buy you out of a bear deterrent.
Let me tell you, hold on. So we started spraying this, and there's one stand that we spray quite a bit. The last time we were, of course, it hadn't rained in a while. So the last couple of days, we've had hogs that we've not had a picture on, or the place we have not had a hog picture. and you've seen them.
We saw them last night.
It's a pile of them. And I'm wondering, why in the world they just show up here?
That's why.
That's the common denominator.
Yeah. Oh, there's no doubt about it.
Man, you stop using it.
The first,
Well, because there's no feed there.
the first
play
play.
it on the little shrubs.
Well, me and that USDA trapper, me and him did a lot of testing together, catching hogs that nobody could get. They'd go in, all these guys trap, couldn't. They'd get them all, but the one or two big ones, and then we go in and get them. I took this to Oklahoma to a specific area because they got bear, deer, and hogs all in the same area. And this was 3 years ago. And we went in. Now, I'm going to tell you all the truth. I put out way too much scent, but it was a test. We went to a row-thin pine plantation, and there's absolutely nothing on the ground in there for anything to eat other than pine straw. And animals don't eat pine straw. Okay. They didn't eat it when I put this on there either. But what happened was I put a quart of this out, 20 foot wide. Yeah, that's 12 ounces. I put a quart. We're testing. And between those row thins, those trees is 20 foot wide. And so I went 20 foot wide between the trees and 40 foot long. We put cameras on it. The first night we had 42 hogs in one picture.
Good night.
Okay, I'm talking about 42 hogs. How that pine thapon thickets, the pine straw. 2 nights later, there was nothing but dirt. They'd done rooted all the straw away looking. On the third night, we had 2 monster bucks that we got pictures of them from an hour walking around that 20 by 40 looking for whatever was there. And the fourth night, we had a bear in it.
Now,
that's when I knew I was getting close.
The berry smell that gets them, and then the
No.
inert stuff.
The berry smell is so that you can't figure out what's in that bottle.
Oh, okay. So that's for us. I got you.
But
Okay.
But
was
it
saying
isn't
that-
a very. But if you just used a cherry smell, and now there's feed companies that figured out the cherry thing, and there's a South Louisiana feed company. They've come out with a cherry berry feed, and all of a sudden they're selling a lot more feed because the animals are eating a lot more feed. Cherry berry, you can say what you want to about anything out there. Cherry berry mixed is the best odor attractant for an animal.
And they've done that testing because there's nothing in the woods that smells cherry berry.
That's right. But animals like it. And then when you put food triggers in there, it's you see the results.
That's the thing. So he has the food triggers that me and you can't pick up on, but the deer can. They can smell. They can smell through it.
An animal can smell up to 6 different. That's like a deer, a bear walk in your kitchen and you making gumbo. He can tell you everything in the gumbo. All we smell is gumbo.
Right.
That's right.
Okay. Same principle. A bear, deer, or hawk can pick up multiples of these smells. So it's like the buffet's on, boys. I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Because it's making them hungry.
So they're digging up the pine straw because they're trying to find.
Sure, they're trying to find the food. Now, they didn't eat. I know there was a company in Louisiana come out and they would spray it on stuff and say the deer eat pine straw. Well, that wasn't true. But and deer ain't eating the pine straw with that or hogs, either one. They're looking for the food. And after 2 or 3 days with nothing on the ground, they'll give it up. I went into Kisatchie National Forest down there right close to where I live. And one afternoon, I went in and put out a whole bottle. Too much, but I'm testing. I sprayed an area probably 15 foot wide, 20 foot long, put a cameras on it. That afternoon, a doe and a fawn got in it. This was back during the summer. The next morning, on a 10-second video, I got 14 deer standing there looking for it on public land.
So
I posted that up.
That's a pretty good test.
Yeah, I mean, in Kisatchie National Forest, you got 14 deer standing there looking for whatever's there. We don't know what's there, but we're looking for it. I thought that was a good test.
Yeah.
So we use it, we use it in tandem kind of with our feed.
Sure.
So can you hit on how kind of the application of it?
Oh, yeah, great. Let me tell you this. The application is this. That bottle right there will treat 3 average size feeders. Now, you can put the whole bottle in a feeder, but you don't really need to, like a third, and that'll treat. Now, what I do personally, put in a little corn, put in a little smell, put in a little corn, put in a little smell, put in a little corn, put in a little smell, put in a little smell. And then when I get through, I run it up and down the legs, or I spray it up in a tree.
Okay.
That way you got it in the air because it's very aromatic.
Now we have spray applicators.
Yeah, I mean, that's about, because the more you can make it aerate, the louder, the faster the smell goes.
How long will? Sorry, go ahead.
No.
How long is that lasting? We talked about urine earlier. Starts breaking down. What did you say? 20 minutes or 30 minutes?
Right.
Whatever. How long is that staying up? So if I go to a 2,000-pound feeder and I have a grain wagon, okay, that auger, that electric auger that I have running up to fill that feeder, if I got that and as that auger's lifting that
I wouldn't
feed,
put it in the auger. I put it in the feeder.
what? Yeah, for sure. But I'm saying like as the auger's going in there, I'm either putting it on the corn end or even as it's going into the feeder, I'm just kind of misting it and pouring it in with the corn. If it's 2,000 pounds of corn on a gravity feeder, will that scent at the very top when you put it in, will it still be on the feed and that corn when it gets down to the bottom?
Yes, sir.
So that's lasting a month or two.
I'd say it'll last a good month.
Okay.
Because see, it's going to adhere into that corn. It's going to, soak into that corn. And I just brought out gallon bottles, by the way, because I had some guys in Texas that that ain't nothing. So I said, okay. So I'm making it in gallons now.
Well, see, and that's never thought about putting that in we do gravity feeders, but hadn't thought about putting it in the.
Well, we hadn't even thought about putting it on the feed. We thought, sprayed away, around the feed or
I
on
do that too.
vegetation around
I
it.
put it in the feed,
vegetation,
around the
that's right.
feeder, everywhere.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, if you just got like a feeder you sell at your store, most customers out there, average size feeder, 250, 300 pounds, what the average feeder is, right? Isn't that about right?
Yeah, that's about
Yeah,
right.
a couple hundred pounds probably.
That'll do 3 of those feeders.
Man,
So
come to Spotted Dog, get your feeder, and don't forget your critter.
That's
getter.
it.
Go
Get
in
your
there.
critter
getter.
getter. And I got guys that are just spraying, like I got a guy hunting beans up in Missouri, and they're spraying the bean fields with it right in front of their bow stands. It's crazy.
Now, if the scent itself, the cherry berry scent, if it kind of fades eventually, does
No,
it stays there?
it stays there. Not let's say the cherry berry.
The inner, the good,
yeah.
Right.
the hook 'em.
But here's the thing too, when you can't smell it, a deer can,
That's what I was. Okay.
and when you can't smell it, a hog can. Well, you can't smell it, a bear can. Now, at Northeast Louisiana, I probably wouldn't do it because of the bears, unless you got some bear-proof feeder dealer.
yeah, and that's what I was thinking a while ago. Like that.
But
if it
everywhere else, that
if it attracts the crap out of deer, that's awesome. But also over in Lake Providence at the farm, I say every camera, I only have 2, but I'm telling you, I have nothing but bears with collars, bears with tags, big bore bears. Their ears look like nickels. They're so big, all the way to cubs. I'm loaded with them.
did y'all draw a tag?
I didn't even put in. I almost did. We got several thousand acres, and I was
Where
like, I
our
can't even put it
property
in.
is, we don't. It's not the bear tags, which that'll be something later on. But the bear tags were just in a specific part,
Right.
and where we are is
It's not an issue with us
no.
at all.
But
But I will tell you what, if we spray this out a lot and the bear shows up, I know it worked because he came a long, long way
Yeah.
to get over where we are.
But on that, they only did 10 tags, and it was like a $75 non-refundable. I may be getting this wrong, but I think it was like $75 for the application fee, and then like $55 for the license that you got to pay for all that up front. I'm like, you got a better chance of getting the scratch off and
I'll
paying
tell
for
you
a
the
black
reason
bear
I didn't
hunt.
put in for it, because I'm a lifetime license holder, and back decades ago when they come out with them the first time, they sold us on spending all that money. They're good for life. Anything that ever happens, you'll have a license for it. So I called them, said, wait a minute, why do I have to pay for the license when I've already got a lifetime? Well, we didn't know about bears back then. I'm like, yeah, right. That's a con.
Yeah, I got a lifetime. As
Well, and look, I'm going to take up for those boys a little bit. Look, we had to start somewhere. You know.
Oh, I'm all about the bears getting shot. I'm all about bear hunting. Now, don't get me wrong. But as a lifetime license holder, when they first sold it, I mean, I was one of the first guys that, when they come out with this stuff, said, we went to the meetings and they said, man, this will be good forever. No matter whatever happens, you got a life.
And at the time, the stuff that you were able to hunt absolutely is forever. Oh, but now we have a new species that's on the, so, well, now you got to buy a new one.
I think, honestly, because I've been following that real close, and if you got any customers that's got a bear tag, I'll make sure that they got this.
Well, and something
I'll
we
donate.
can do.
Anybody you know got a tag, I'll donate.
Yes. Anybody listening, just send us a message. When does the bear season open here in Louisiana?
December, I think.
I don't have
Anybody
any
out
idea.
there that drew a tag, one of the 10 tags, if you want some critter getter to put on your bait pile,
I
will sponsor that.
Can you or can you not?
I don't
Yes.
know. You can bait?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was told you can.
Okay. Definitely verify that.
But not, well, you can't put corn out because some of those parishes
EHD or
yes,
CWD.
That's correct.
If you can put feed out, or if you just want to try an experiment and you got bears,
It's not really a feed. It's an
It's
attraction.
100% synthetic. It's not illegal to put out on any WMA, any CWD. It's 100% synthetic, and it's legal everywhere.
Oh, that's a good point.
Even
all of my
I
sense.
didn't know
Even
that.
up north in states that
The only state that me or any scent company, lure company cannot operate in is the state of Montana. You can't even have a bottle of that in your truck in the state of Montana. Ask me how I know.
uh-oh.
All right, how
Ask
do you
me.
know? How do you know? I want to know.
Now, I want to know that too. Real
Because
quick.
we went through a game warden check station, and I wasn't even hunting in Montana, but we was driving through the edge of Montana, and we got pulled over. And I'm an honest guy. They said, "Hey man, y'all got your scent lures?" Yeah, I got a bottle. Yeah, I'm in the scent business. Yeah. And they didn't write me because I told them, "Hey, this is what I do, and we're going into Wyoming and blah 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 blah." And but yeah, you can't even legally have that in your truck and
Holy cow.
be hunting in Montana. Any brand, any kind, synthetic, real live, whatever, it don't matter. You can't have it in Montana. But everywhere else, we're totally legal, and you can go pour that out by the gallon in Tensol if you want to on their WMA, and it's totally legal because it's synthetic.
That's
Will not
awesome.
transmit
When did this come out?
I just brought it out, 2 months ago?
Okay.
Brand new.
So let's do two things real quick. Do we have some of that at the store? Are we getting some of that at the
Yes.
store?
Yes.
Okay. We're getting it, or we have it?
No, but yes.
No.
No,
Something-
we don't
Don't
have it,
have
but
it.
yes. I
Perfect.
mean, we just talked about
Yeah.
this. He just got it going.
What
in package.
Before we get too off onto this, I want to jump back to these
Yeah,
sets.
let me say this one thing
go
about
ahead.
this real quick. We got two things. I want to do a little giveaway. Just send us a message at spotteddogssportinggoods.com. This is, you said, a 12-ounce bottle of critter getter.
Cuz's Critter Getter.
Yep, Cuz's Critter Getter. If you're bear hunting and you drew a tag, send us a message. We want to verify that you got your bear tag for Louisiana, and we'll send you a bottle of this. You can pick it up at the store. We'll mail it to you free of charge. So that's the first one. And number two,
Well, wait, or maybe we have to see a tag.
yeah, that's
or
what I said.
something.
Just
y'all-
that's what I said. Send us
I
your.
will, and y'all don't even have to give yours. I will provide this. I will do this. But the only catch is I want a picture of the bear in the bottle once he's dead.
Oh, that's
Yeah, for sure. So, and we'll do that again. You have to verify it clear. And I said that a while ago, but I want you got to verify it. We'll send you a bottle. But also, I would never think you could spray that on WMAs or
Absolutely.
National Wildlife Refuges or anything
long
like
as
that. If you can, and what you're saying you can, I'd love to give somebody a bottle of that hunts a lot of public ground. They can go out there, put it out, and give us your.
done. Absolutely.
Yeah. So anyhow, that's the two little things. Send us a message, spotteddogssportinggoods.com on Instagram, and we'll hook two of y'all up. So we'll do that.
Or
But
at least give us some feedback
Yeah.
and let us know what you
Yeah.
think
Yeah,
about
that's
being
the whole
able to do
that's
that.
the whole
or not.
purpose of doing it.
if you
Yeah, for
got,
sure.
I'll give you an example. Like my mama's backyard, she's got this white oak, and when they start falling, the deer start coming. So what I did is I went out there and just, once again, I used the whole bottle. Okay. I mean, I'm just playing with deer. And the next day, my mom's 95, and she walks around in her yard on a walker, and she's got a little Chihuahua dog about that tall, and that's her life. And she come back in, she says, "Hey, there's a whole bunch of deer out on that tree." And this was 9 o'clock in the morning in my mama's backyard.
Yeah.
And they don't even run from her, in her backyard, and they sit there eating. And it's just, spraying it around feed trees, spraying in an area. I'm not going to say the deer are going to come in there like they will to a bag of corn spray with this, but they will check it out. They will come to see what's there because it makes them hungry.
But right now we need something because you can forget the cold. They're walking through the white oak acorns are raining.
Go spray a white oak acorn tree right now and see what happens. Just spread it around on the ground. You ain't got to lose a lot. Just 10 or 12 sprays out of your spray bottle on the ground, climb, see what happens.
So I'm going to ask you this. One, not say I ain't trying to knock Golden Corral, a place I ain't really much on going to eat. They're not trying to sponsor us, so I think it's okay to say this. I'm not in on the Golden Corral. You go in, you smell chicken tenders, you smell pizza, you smell steak that's probably going to be overcooked, and you smell some kind of banana pudding. You smell all of it. It's just a plethora of smells and foods, and they all smell good separated, but when they're together, your boy here is not a fan. So that's my question to you. Going into how do you use this stuff? How do you use Cooter Juice? And
that's what I wanted to back up to.
Seymour Deer and Critter Getter.
Let's talk about. We'll start with Seymour Deer. Like I said earlier before we got started, I will not walk in the woods without it sprayed on my boots. I won't go. If I go, you want to get selfies? It's your cameras. Get deer to take selfies. Take your camera strap. Hit about 3 pumps of Seymour Deer and wrap it around the tree. They're going to come up there and smell it. You're going to get a picture of them in their face. Rookham juice. I use it 365 days a year in scrapes. If I find a scrape, if I'm walking through an area I'm hunting, and I find a scrape, I hit it. 5 in the top, 5 or 6 in the bottom, 4 or 5 in the top, 5 in the bottom. That's it. Don't add any more for 10 days. You don't have to, because you're fixing to trigger those deer to react to the deer because they think this is a deer. Yeah, it's synthetic, but let me tell you something. 20 years ago, synthetics really weren't your thing. But with science now and what can be done through synthetics, here's another good thing. This don't break down. The only way to ruin this is put it in heat, like lay it on the dash of your buggy and let the heat cook it. Leave it in a blind, locked up through July here in the state of Louisiana. When it gets 140 degrees up in that blind, it'll cook it. Throw it away. If not, you keep this at the house, out of sunlight. I hate to say this, but that bottle will last longer than me and you will. But if you ain't used it all in 2 years, give it to somebody that will use it.
Let me see that bottle. And that's something everybody needs to know, too. You know, back in the day, we all used some kind of something.
Sure.
We won't say what it is, but it always came in a 1 ounce bottle.
Little screw top
little
bottle.
Small deal. And probably back in the day, if a little did a good, then a lot did better. But this is a 4 ounce bottle.
Right.
You know, it's not this stuff, because it doesn't break down as long as you don't leave it in heat, it lasts. You use what you use a third of it. The next year you use a third of it. I hope, depends on how, that's how.
I'm using some from last year right now.
Yeah.
I mean, the good and the bad of that is, and there was a lot of thinking behind this, and I had to make a decision. I sell a 1 ounce bottle and try to sell 2 to 3 bottles to everybody every year and everything. I said, no, I want to do something, because I've had guys, that's $20. That's expensive. I can buy an ounce of bottle of that for 10. I said, yeah, think about what you just said. That bottle's $10. This bottle's $20, but I've got 4 times as much. That bottle goes bad the second you open it. It's deteriorating. This don't.
As soon as oxygen.
So the value, I wanted to come out with a value-based product that we could make money on, the dealers could make money on, and at the end of the day, somebody could say, hey, I got something that I got value out of. That's not just a one and done.
How many of those you hear about these days?
What's that?
Value-based products.
Yeah, not many.
So, recapping. Seymour Deer, on your boots, round you stand. The first time my wife hunted with me, we was in Oklahoma. Not at the place we did the testing. Another buddy of mine has an operation, and I bought a hunt for my wife up there. And we go up there, and it's we wanted to hunt out of tree stands, but it's Oklahoma. It's late December. It's too cold. It's like high in the day. It was 20 degrees. So, we get in the ground blind. We bundled up. I go out there and I set up a decoy, and I sprayed the decoy, and I sprayed the blind with Seymour Deer. And we're sitting there, and we're hunting all day. You know, we're going to be tough. We're going to hunt all day. And about 2 o'clock, I got the third coffee bottle. I undo the top, you know, and I poured us a cup of coffee, and I handed her a cup of coffee, and I said, don't move. And she thought I was joking. She goes, I want that cup of coffee. I said, shh, don't move. There was a doe had walked up. I didn't even hear her walk up. I don't know how, but anyway, and she's licking the blind. And then my wife realizes there's a deer out there, and she's freaking out and everything, you know, and then the deer walks out there and sniffs the decoy and goes on. And goes, wow, you know, and then she's flipping out because she had never seen the deer react to it like we had, because she'd never been out there testing with it. And that was her first reaction. We literally had a deer that far away from her licking the blind.
That is pretty neat. That's pretty wild.
So last night, me and Jacob, my brother, and this is kind of my little testament to the Seymour deer, was so we're walking. We decided to do a little hanging hunt yesterday afternoon, and we're walking through the woods, and we're putting a lot of scent on the ground. And none of us, you know, we were in a rush kind of, so none of us, we didn't spray anything on our boots. We were just how we were. We went, and just right before last light, we had a little buck walk up under us, and everywhere we stepped, he still, you know, he was putting his nose to it on every branch we touched. And he followed her trail, but he was cautious. You know, his eyes were in the air, his eyes were looking around. And then eventually he ended up getting right under us and saw us and blew and ran. But, you know, from my experiences, when I have it on my boots, they're doing the same thing. They're walking where we walk, but they're calm. Yeah, you know, they're not as cautious as yesterday, at least. So
You're talking about like referring to the Seymour deer?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's amazing the response. I've had guys send videos of, you know, deer walking up just like the one to you, brother, and, you know, they're licking the stand. Or, you know, the first experience, my nephew, he sprayed a vest, laid it at the bottom of the stand. I posted that video. This doe walks the trail. She's up there licking on that vest. You know, I mean, that's not normal. But now, cooter juice. I don't know why I got to grab these bottles, but I just feel like I got to. Cooter juice.
It's a good prop.
Let me tell you when and why and how to use this product. Most people, the biggest mistake people make with any estrus type product is they use it at the wrong time. I've seen people with all the other brands, my brand, going out, and they'll, you know, I sprayed this October the 1st and I run all the deer off, or I sprayed it January the 90th, or, you know, whatever. The right product at the wrong time equals no results or bad results. This is for the rut, slightly pre-rut, slightly post-rut only. There's a window. Now, when that window opens, my taxidermist, he was in Missouri the first year he used this. He goes and hangs a stand one afternoon. And he walks a couple hundred yards down this lane, sets his drag rag. Thank God he took his bow with him. He's dragging this back to his stand to hunt that afternoon, heard something turning around, and there was a 10-point with his head on the ground coming to him. He never made it back to his stand and launched it into a 10-point.
How about that?
Does that happen every time? Absolutely not. But it happened that time because he did the drag rag, laid that scent trail down. That's natural. That's how you want to use this. People that go out there and spray this all in the woods, that's a mistake. Let me tell you why. Me and a biologist from the state of Tennessee a few years ago, we tested, and we sprayed a bunch of stuff, hung a bunch of stuff, left it in the woods, cameras every different angle you could put on it, and the bucks would come in there and they would sniff and they'd sniff and they'd sniff. And they'd look and they'd look and they'd look and they didn't see the doe. Guess what? Boom, they're on the next farm or 2 farms over. And we get pictures of them over there. Because once they're chasing that hot doe and they don't find her, they're on to the next place. They're looking for the next hot doe. So the worst thing you could do with anybody's estrus doe and heat product is drag it in, hang it up, carry it out. drag it in, hang it up, carry it out. Sure, you're going to leave some scent on the ground because that's the whole purpose of it. But you're not leaving a concentrated scent on a tree, a bush, or a drag rag, or a wick, or whatever. So, be smart about your, hunting. I think today's time, we got so much information that hunting has become hard because people are making it hard. But if you get back to the basics, basic, scent, scent control, basic use of the right time for every product, then your success is going to go way up.
Yeah. That's, it's funny you say that, talking about the series that we just talked about that we wanted to do is like a back to basics of duck hunting, deer hunting, coon hunting, bow hunting, duck hunting, all that kind of stuff. But, yeah, it is. There's a lot of products out there and things can get complicated really, really, really quick, especially when you have one purpose with 1,000 products and trying to go and choose. It can be a little bit intimidating sometimes.
Yeah, but using it at the right time, that makes more sense than anything. Yeah,
sure. It's like Rookham's juice, Seymour deer. You can use that any day of the year, but cooter juice is strictly for the rut. And if your deer are not in rut, don't use it.
Look, and let's go back to the Rookham one more time. And you almost hit on it. You and I had a conversation here not too long ago, but you use that 12 months out of the year.
Yes, sir.
A deer doesn't just make scrapes, or they don't visit a scrape just during the pre-rut, post-rut. No. It's a scent deal.
It's a community. It's their social media. They'll come by once a week, twice a week, 2 times a day, whatever. Leave a scent. Go on. The next deer comes along, leaves a scent.
So it doesn't mean that, hey, this is a...
The only time they dig in it is pre-rut, post-rut, or second rut. That's when they dig in it. That's when they're trying to really, you know what they're doing? You ever dug up dirt? What you getting?
Fresh dirt.
You get a smell. Okay. But while doing that, if there's any scent there, they're stirring it up in the air.
And probably there had been a scrape prior to that scrape, maybe.
Anytime I find, my favorite month to scout whitetail deer is in Louisiana, February. 2 reasons. Number one, the buck trails are defined because there's no browse in the way. Number 2, the big scrapes, the big community scrapes where all the deer come, don't have any leaves in them.
Yeah.
Mark them.
Yeah.
Drop you a pin. Used to, now I'm so old school, we had maps and compasses, okay? All this technology we got in our pockets now is ridiculous. I think all you kids ought to have to y'all ought to have to use a topo map and a compass.
Oh, look.
For a year.
Even on Onyx, even on Onyx, the topo map on Onyx, which I know it's still on your phone, but that's still how I do most all of my scouting for deer is using topos.
If you use Google Earth with it and that Onyx, it's phenomenal. Because I'm not looking at a spot. I'm looking at the picture to tell me why that spot is the way that spot is. And that's like with trail cameras today, the ones I run, I got properties that buck deer only move on the east wind. That don't even sound normal because east is least and west is best. Well, let me tell you something. I got hundreds of thousands of pictures that'll argue with you. And I got another property 15 miles from that property and the bucks only move on a northwest wind. But the common denominator, what I've learned from trail cameras, and I got access to a lot of data from trail cameras, from a lot of guys running lots of cameras. I'm a trail camera company's poster child because I run a lot of cameras. I even run cameras in Africa, so I got a big cell camera bill. But anyway, but the biggest thing I've learned from cell cameras, absolute without a doubt, I will not hunt anymore on a 0 wind. If the wind ain't blowing, I ain't going. I got 193,000 pictures that back up what I'm telling you. And it says 3 to 9 miles an hour is when the deer move. 4 to 5 miles an hour is the peak movement.
Why do you think that is?
The wind's your friend. What my daddy always said. I think it's got a lot to do with, think about this. If there's no wind, there's no currents other than thermals. Now that, if you're in, we have thermals here in the South that not nearly like to do in the mountains. And
Right.
I'm not going to debate thermals right now. I'm a thermal guy. I study thermals, but like Louisiana, when you have that much data that says, documented data that says, you've got out 190-something thousand pictures. You've got 2,000 pictures on a 0 to 2 mile an hour wind, and you got 190,000 pictures from a 3 to 9 mile an hour wind.
You don't have to get beat
I
over
don't.
the
I mean,
head
I'm
with a
not the.
stick to-
I mean, I'm not the smartest guy in the room, but I'm smart enough to read data for what data is.
But they travel with that wind. I mean,
Sure
that's
they
their
do.
friend. I mean, they got their nose. They got to
Sure.
have a little. I'm with you.
Now, with a lot of thermals and I'll tell you, and now me and some guys are doing a study on humidity and how it affects deer, and I'm starting to break that down and look at pictures based on, okay, what was the humidity, why this, why that, and my whole thing on the moon, I'll throw it out there. You can agree, disagree. If the moon's straight up, no matter what time of the day it is, and the moon's straight down, what time of the day it is, that's when I want to be in a stand.
When you do want to?
That's
Yes.
when I'm going to be hunting personally,
And with
because
that 4 to 9 mile an hour wind.
yes, sir.
So full moon, new moon.
I don't care what the moon is. Some of the biggest bucks I've guided was on a full moon, shot at 12:30 today,
Wow.
When the moon was either
Straight up.
straight up or down.
or straight out. Full moon. I had a group of guys in Missouri when I had that place up in Missouri, and it was like 15 degrees at daylight, and it was their opening day. It was the second group of hunters I had in there that year. And I said, look, fellas, we got a full moon. Y'all had a late night. Y'all going to stay up, play cards, and have your Kool-Aid. I said, why don't y'all sleep in the morning? Because we really don't need to hit the stands till about 10 o'clock. No, we're going hunting. We're okay, whatever. One old guy, he goes, I'm going to take you up. He said, I want you to take me hunting tomorrow. I said, fine. I'll get everybody else in the stand, and whatever they want to do, we'll take care of them, and because I got a guide for everybody. And so the next day, we get everybody out. Everybody's in the stands. They're freezing to death. They're texting us, oh, we're dying. Hey, you want to hunt? Don't move. This is Missouri, and it's right on time for everything to happen. So 10:30, everybody was back. Me and that old guy left at 12:37. I'll never forget this long as I live. At 12:37, we had a 181-inch Boone and Crockett walk to my scrape, and he dropped him.
How about that?
And you know what kind of stand we was hunting in? You gonna really love it.
Truck window.
No. I took alfalfa bay hay bales, the small kind that, we grew up throwing
That's
them,
right.
and I stacked them with a shooting window. We're sitting in that out of the wind, but it's still cold. I mean, it's real cold. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking, and I said, get ready, because I see him here. I don't see nothing. I said, get ready. He's fixing to step out at the scrape. And he did. And there he was.
What's your thoughts on the red moon? I think I even asked you that a little while. You hear that, even like Lee Lukoski, you hear those guys talk about, hunt the red moon. I don't even really know. I've looked into it some, but I don't know a whole lot about it.
It seemed like it's only red for a minute.
It's a full moon.
I don't think it's actually red. I don't know why
It's kind of orange.
Well, but
Yeah.
they're I think they get the name from somewhere besides the actual color, though, right?
Yes. What did I say earlier? How I hunt the moon?
It's either you're going to hunt it when it's straight up or straight down.
And if straight up's at 9 o'clock in the morning, and that's something else too. People in Louisiana, when I grew up, you remember the almanacs that had the signs? Where the sign was in the foot, the head, the shoulder. Remember all that?
That's a long time ago.
Okay, yeah. Well, I'm one of those guys that ain't never quit looking at that stuff. And I know I'm crazy, but you need to check that out. Go look at the signs. And it's where the most scent is. Man, when the sign's in the foot.
So it's below the knee, and that correlates with pressure and the moon as well. Like when it's below the knee, I heard that on another podcast. I don't even remember what it was.
All the old timers that I grew up hunting around. And we didn't have all the deer management and the big deer, but the guys that killed the majority of the deer hunted by the sign out of the almanac, straight up, straight down.
I go buy me another dang almanac. So
Straight up and straight down. Straight up, straight down on the moon. Not when the feeding time, straight up, straight down. No matter what time of the day or evening. Now, I'll tell you how crazy I am. I'll take it. Let's say that you're straight up. It's going to be at 10 o'clock. When would you get in the morning? When would you get in your stand?
Me? I mean, depending on how close I am to the bedding area or anything like that. If I'm not,
I don't care where the bedding area is.
Well, I'm talking about blowing out deer, but I mean, I would say if I want to be hunting and I want to kill something at 10, I mean, or you said 9 or 10, I'm going to try to be there at least an hour, like ride my bike and I'm in the stand an hour and a half set up, camera gear ready to go, at least an hour and a half before I expect.
At 30 minutes.
So 2 hours?
I don't always get in my stand before daylight. Now, I'll tell you this, if the moon's going to be straight up at 6:30 in the morning, I'm going to be in the stand at 4:30 in the morning. If it's going to be straight up midday, I'll get in the stand at 10 o'clock. If it's going to be 1 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 2 o'clock, I may only hunt from 11:30 to 3:30. Because if you really look at the time, and that's all studying with these pictures and thousands of pictures, said, okay, here was the moon, here's the deer movement. Here was the moon, here's the deer movement. And when you see that laid out in front of you and you got your own data, don't argue with your own data.
Right.
Because it'll change from your property to mine, but it will not change much. And sure, you'll have a deer get up and go over here. You get on camera or deer over there for whatever reason. A coyote might got that deer up. You don't know it or whatever, and they're just moving. Or they got hungry and they went to your food pile, whatever. But the majority of the deer and the majority of the animals are going to move straight up, straight down. And I'm going to tell y'all, I'm going to tell you something my daddy taught me as a boy. And I've shared this on a couple of places, and a lot of people, you can believe it or not believe it. And I don't care. When the woodpecker's pecking and you ain't seeing big bucks, you're in the wrong stand.
When the woodpecker is pecking
and you ain't seeing big bucks, you're in the wrong stand.
All right.
Because the
what's
woodpecker's
the correlation to that? Woodpecker gets excited when he sees a big buck, or is that he is alarming everybody else?
No,
what's
sir.
going on?
When that woodpecker, how many times a day do you hear a woodpecker?
A lot.
When he's
big ones or little ones, you know.
When he's working on that tree, check all your movement, check all your moon phases.
Oh, so he's moving the same time.
He's moving exactly the same time as the deer, and I don't know why, but I can't tell you. I've shared that with a lot of people, and they'll come, man, I shot a big buck, and I was listening to a woodpecker.
So
and myself personally, I can't tell you. I can't even remember how many times I've shot a buck listening to a woodpecker.
Well, I'm gonna be flat out honest with you. I've not paid attention.
I guarantee you one thing.
You ain't never heard that
but
story.
I tell you what,
I ain't missing a woodpecker now.
Woodpecker this time.
Yep. I'll be listening for them dang woodpeckers.
Especially those little ones, they get out there. There'll be another one over here. My daddy swore by it. He said, son, if you're listening to a lot of woodpecker activity and you're not seeing buck deer, you're in the wrong stand. They're on their feet.
All right. Write this down.
I mean,
when the woodpecker's pecking.
That's right. And I mean, you can call me crazy. That's right. And if you ain't seeing them, you're in the wrong spot.
You better get up and move.
That's a great idea. All right. Time out.
You got to pee?
Yeah.
All right. We're going to take a break really quick, and we'll be right back just a second.
Grand. You can get it. Yeah, yeah. And look what elk hunting costs now.
Well,
We just talked about that day before yesterday.
10 grand.
Oh, that's a cheap one.
Yeah, 10 grand ain't
elk
getting you very
hunt's
far.
Out of the question. I mean, that's,
What'd you say?
you know, $10,000 for an elk hunt is not expensive.
No.
All right. Moose hunting in Alaska is 30 grand. Yukon is 35 to 50,000, and New Brunswick, Quebec, it's 10 up. because they don't have as big a moose. If you're going to shoot a 60+ inch moose, you're going to pay $25,000 to $35,000 for that moose.
Well, we're gonna try it. We're
I
gonna
just think
video
it's.
a lot of it.
I just think it's common sense because we've done it. But I mean, the difference. Here's what. Before we get back to the show, the difference between me and most people. I killed my first deer when I was 6 years old. I'm 65. The last 40-something years, I did it professionally.
Yeah.
And it's. I promise you, it's harder to take somebody and kill a deer than it is to go kill a deer.
Yeah.
And the difference between my operation and most operations today, and I'm not knocking outfitters today, but everybody back in the day we had to get licensed and all that. Everything we did was one-on-one.
Yeah.
I never dropped a guy off in a stand in my career. Why would I do that? Then I'm nothing more than a taxi.
Uber service.
Yeah, Uber. Yeah, high dollar 4-wheel drive ranch wagon. You know.
Yeah.
Look, that's a spot where we just sprayed the critter.
Oh yeah, I can tell you exactly why they're there.
Oh yeah.
I can tell you how to get rid of them too.
Like I said, when you go and you get something that will deter hogs and deter bears, that is
money.
Yeah.
Let me show. I want to show one more picture. And this is something that Ryan and I hooked up. We even took a video of it. You see that little deer right there?
Mm-hmm.
Right there. And that's a little
wick.
a little brushy thing. And we sprayed Grunting on it.
What picture are you showing them? Because there was a picture that morning. There was a picture that morning of a deer with his
sticking his nose up
with his
to
nose up
yeah,
to it.
Yeah. This is that. I'm assuming that's the spindly horn 8-point. Is that a different deer altogether?
That's a deer we've had on camera for a while. He's everywhere.
I got to figure out how to use TikTok. I got an account, but I just.
Well, you're about to be on here about 10,000 different times.
That's in the last 3 weeks. All those pictures was taken.
All right, so yeah, and you sent me so with that rope.
That's a different. I just put that on TikTok.
Okay.
See, we got I think
But I sent you a bunch of pictures.
I think where we messed up, we didn't. We hung it, and we didn't. Do you, after you're hanging your stuff, are you scraping out the leaves?
Oh, absolutely.
That's one thing we didn't do. That.
Absolutely. See, what I do is I want to make it look like Daddy Dick walked up there and said, "Hey, this is my spot. I want it to look exactly right. I want the right height limb. Makes a lot of difference. And I'm going to spray it. Spray the limb, spray the dirt. Move on to the next one. And I'll tell you something.
5 squirts on each.
5 squirts. And I'll tell you something else. Are we back going?
Yeah, we were on.
Okay. I'll tell you something else that I do. And I call it the triangulation, the triangle theory. When I go into a new area, let's say I come to your place and we go, wow, that's a great spot. Let's set up a scrape. I'm going to have 2 wingmen. I'm going to set up 3. I'm going to let the deer dictate to me exactly where they want to be. You may pick a beautiful spot. I have. Remember that baseball analogy? Hey, I promise you, I've made a lot of scrapes that nothing ever come to. But now I've gotten gooder at it. You know what I mean? So, but that's why when I go in an area, I do 3. I let the deer dictate to me exactly where they want to be. And then when I find the place that they like the best, guess what I do?
You rook
Hone
them.
in on it.
That, and I go eliminate the other 2 by cutting the licking branch. When the licking branch is gone, it's over. If you want to mess
that
up
one gland,
if you want to mess somebody's hunting place up and they got a scrape, go and cut the licking branch. You might as well shot their deer because he ain't coming back. Absolutely.
Crap in it.
We have a
Oh, no, that ain't no, they'll come back.
deer
Oh,
do
cut
that
the
too.
licking-
I saw that the other day.
Huh?
The deer will do it too. But
Yeah.
we have a couple trail cameras on some scrapes that we put out and ones that we had and ones that we found. And there's been other scrapes in the area, and that's something I hadn't thought about. If we could cut the licking branch on on the ones around it.
See put cameras on them and see which one they're using. They might use one of the others more than
maybe
yours.
it'll dictate to them. I'm not using this anymore. I'm gonna go to that.
When you cut that leaking branch, it's over with.
Yeah, but how does that work though? If you're talking about 3 or one of those 3 scrapes you're talking about that you're finding that you're setting up.
No, I'm setting up. I'm creating.
You're
these
creating
scrapes.
3. So you're not going out there in January and February and finding the historical scrapes they've been using for 100 years. Are you not trying to use those primarily because the deer's already telling you where they want to be? So are you not trying to go and hit those?
Yeah, those two.
Yeah. So you're hitting those, but if you're in an area that you don't have a historical scrape.
Listen to what I said. When I walk into a new area that I've never been in.
New area. Gotcha.
Now, if I got a scrape that I find that looks like this table or half the size of this table, I don't need to go set up anymore. They've already told me where Party Central is. We just got to figure out what the wind is, get a camera in there, what wind direction they're coming from, da-da-da-da-da. So when I get all this intel in the summer, I get more bucks in velvet that tell me everything about that area. When people are going, oh, well, we got to go catch a fish or dish or whatever they're doing that time of the year. I want to know my data on those deer, where they're coming from. I'll tell you an example. I met a guy in Tennessee a few years ago at a trade show. And he told me about all these beautiful big velvet bucks they were trying to kill. I said, well, look, let's do the walk back. He looked at me kind of like he just looked at me, walk back. And said, what are you talking about? And I said, well, here's what we're going to do. So we went to Anthony's place, and he showed me where he likes to hunt. I said, okay, let's set up a couple scrapes and get him going. Okay, we got him going. We got the data. We found out which way they was coming from, what wind they were moving on. Boom. We moved back 100 yards toward the deer. Boom. Did it again. Moved back another 100 yards. He killed the biggest deer of his life standing up out of his bed in velvet at 11 o'clock one morning.
He got it on him.
Not hunting his
favorite spot. We walked him back to the bedding area.
Yeah.
You want to play with deer? Scrapes. You can walk. They can lead you to the bedroom if you'll play with enough of them.
All right. So if you're going into a new place, like you said, and there's not any scrapes, what sign are you looking for?
Tell me what part of the world we in, because that's
Bernice, Louisiana.
Okay, Piney Woods, Louisiana.
It's Piney Woods, but it's a lot of white oak acre. And
do you know what a saddle on a topo map is? Okay, I'm going to the point of that saddle. I'm going to make a scrape somewhere in that area. And then you've got, see, it don't matter if you're hunting flat country or mountains, saddles or saddles. There are changes. The things I look for are changes in terrain and transition zones of timber. In Louisiana, we got a lot of transitions, all the clear cuts, all the. Yeah. So if you got a transition zone and a saddle, I'm going to, like, let's say here's a saddle. And I know people out there can't see that, but like I'm going to point here, 2 wings. Or I may point here and 2 wings over here. The deer are going to get in one of them or all of them. And then they're going to focus on one, more than likely. And then that's what I'm going to focus on. Now, I'm going to let the deer dictate to me. But saddles, that's the first thing I look for on a map is a saddle. That's where I'm going first. I went to Jonesville last year on a big, I wish I had this guy's place to hunt. And, you know, we had a bunch of people there to watch me do the show. But anyway, they show up and he said, oh, I want to go over here. I said, listen, I've been on Google Earth. I've been on X. I've studied your place. How many cameras you got? He goes, I got 5. I said, well, I already got 5 places picked. We went to those 5 places. We set up 5 cameras based on exactly what I just told y'all. When we're setting up camera number 5, camera number 3 had a 6-point and a doe in it, 52 minutes after I set it up. It's just they got a lot of deer. But at the same time, we picked the spots.
Picked a good spot.
And the more you learn how to pick spots, your 30% is going to go higher and higher. I think I'm doing a lot better than that now. But some areas I hit, it's a 0. For whatever reason, there might not be enough deer there. It's just too much hunting pressure, too many other people, you know, especially because I do it. Man, listen, every bit of this, all of my stuff was 100% tested on public land before it ever seen a piece of private dirt.
Hardest place to kill a deer.
Yeah.
And I told myself when I first started dealing with this, if I could prove this all on public land to myself, where I would be satisfied to spend $20 and go hunt with it, then I'd be good enough. And then that's when I went to taking it to, I got places, I got guys, and I had a kid last year. I say he's a kid. He's 18 this year. He was 17 last year. He killed 2 deer with it. The first one was 160, that's good Iowa deer. The second one, I can show y'all pictures, was 190 Iowa deer, 17 years old.
Dang it, boy. Which product did he have?
All.
Okay.
He had got that deer on, he found him on a scrape. He got the rut. He did a drag rag, hung it in the scrape, shot him with a bow in the scrape.
But this stuff, it's not going to guarantee you're going to.
No, absolutely not.
You just don't go find a place in the woods, squirt it out, and just hang on. They come. I mean, you got to kind of be in deer or
woodsmanship.
Yeah.
Scouting is key. Learning how to read sign, and then learning how to position scents based on the sign and the reaction you get.
Yeah.
It's like, you can be the best fisherman in the world, but if you're fishing where there aren't any fish, you're not going to get a bite.
That's right.
Okay? If you're the greatest hunter in the world and you're hunting where there's no deer, you're not going to see a deer. So you got to learn to scout deer, learn to see what deer do. Use trail cameras to your advantage. Get a trail camera that takes pictures, gives you data that you can study and learn from there. Learn your deer herd, because I promise you, your deer herd is different than mine. Everybody's is different because it's not the same property. It's not the same terrain. It's not the same pressure. Everybody's deer herd is different.
Well, we just don't want somebody, hey, look, we listened to that podcast the other night. I've been using cooter juice for Seymour deer for 2 weeks. Hadn't seen a deer. Well, partner, how many deer did you see before you squirted that?
Oh, yeah.
Probably none.
I had a guy.
But we just want to let them know it's not going to bring deer to an otherwise no deer place.
Right. You can't go in. Right. I had a guy a couple years ago. He bought a bottle from me, and I talked to him for quite a long time on the phone. And he went and put out made 5 scrapes on his place. He called me a week later. I don't have a deer on a scrape. I said, that's interesting. He said, I got deer coming to all my feeders, but I don't have none of any scrapes. I said, okay, tell me what you're doing. He said, well, I went all the way around my field, and he's got a big field and got all these low-hanging perfect limbs to make scrapes, and he made 5 scrapes. I said, well, tell me what's going on. He said, well, every day, and he had regular trail cameras. He was riding on his cart every day, swapping out SD cards and going back and looking to see if he had any deer on camera. Can y'all tell me what he was doing wrong?
Yeah.
He might be there a little too often, man.
Unless you got a farm or a ranch where you're in and out with trucks and stuff every day and the deer are used to it, if you're riding your golf cart through your field every day and you hadn't been doing that, you're not going to have success.
Yeah, they pick up on that.
That's why I don't go back for 7 to 10 days. My scent will last that long, and I don't need to be there unless it's time to hunt. You don't need to go see anything. Yeah. Even if you don't have a cell camera, you just got a traditional old, you're old enough to remember this. Remember the first trail thing that ever come out? I said thing for a reason. Remember it had a little timer and a thread?
And a thread that went from... Yeah.
Okay, and then you just knew something walked by there and pulled the thread, which set the timer on this little wind-up thing. That's the trail cameras we had.
That was back in the 80s.
That was in the 80s.
Are the ones with the film in it?
No, it wasn't no camera at all. It had like a little clock. A little clock thing on it, okay? Like a little wind-up clock. And it had a string, and whenever that string pulled out, that's when the clock stopped. Now, that was in the 80s.
You following him?
No, he don't know.
Okay, so you essentially have, I've never heard of it, but picking up what you're saying, you have 2 points, just say in between trees or whatever else, and you have the timer.
Trail timer was the name of it.
You have
That's right.
You have a timer, and that clock, just like how our watch is constantly rolling. As soon as something walks through that trail and pulls and like disengages, it pulls it out and stops the time. So you can go back and look. I had something come through
at this time.
Okay.
And you don't know what
Whether
it
it
was.
was a raccoon, a squirrel, or
Well, you put it up high enough that you try to catch a rack of a buck.
It could be your buddy in there trying to hunt your deer.
Yeah.
There ain't no deleting SD cards when you got something like that.
Now that was in the
I
80s. I
forgot
started
all
hunting in the 60s when.
So you,
That's a good memory. I appreciate you bringing that up.
I'm old enough to remember all this technology guru stuff, and it's kind of amazing how really old school some of us are, and seeing, I remember my daddy never had a tree stand, never had any camouflage till he got up in his 60s or 70s when I'd buy him some, But when I was growing up as a kid, Daddy didn't have none of that. He wore red and black wool, and he just walked through the woods and shoot deer with a 30-30.
fun. That's
I
fun
mean,
stuff.
Way
that's what
before
they
me
did
and
back
Tiffany.
then.
Yeah.
That's what they did back then.
Yeah.
But now, it's, who's got the,
Well, our deer got a little smarter, a little
Sure.
wiser.
Well,
There's
they've
a
been-
lot
they-
more people in the woods too.
absolutely the pressure that deer are under today are, I'd say 100 times what it was when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I mean, I can remember going deer hunting as a kid, and you might see 5 trucks in the whole national forest, and now you see 5 every 50 feet.
Back in those days too, though, y'all were hunting a deer track. I mean,
Yeah.
there wasn't near as
Oh, we had
Man.
many deer.
You won't believe I saw a track today.
Yeah,
Let's put a stand on it.
absolutely.
Track.
And I know you can get carried away with some stuff. And look, I love still hunting as much as the next guy. So Darbone Refuge right here in Rocky Branch, one of my favorite things to do is slip off through there with my 30-30 with a little 3x9. Actually, I got the barrel cut down, put that suppressor on it. It's pretty awesome. But slip through there and just kind of do a little scouting, a little bit of hunting. I still love doing that. But going and using this kind of stuff, or, using the ascenders and whatever, getting up and down in trees, and the art of modern hunting, it can get carried away and you can waste time on some stuff, but still knowing back to the basics, knowing the stuff that you and your dad are talking about, but using modern technique. I like it.
Having scent that works, having a better tree stand, having better boots, having much better clothes. There's nothing wrong with that. Technology's fantastic. People, and I'm on pet peeve here. Y'all know I shoot a crossbow, a vertical. I'm always out of the box. I don't shoot nothing that anybody else has got, but I've killed critters.
And for everybody that's listening, think about that a minute. Most every crossbow anybody's ever seen horizontal.
That's right.
This one is turned
It's vertical.
this way with the stock,
Right.
and the string runs
Yeah.
like a compound bow.
Right. That's basically it. And, but the thing is, it don't matter. People today love to bash. I like watching these guys that are real the bashers. I'll go watch their profiles, and all of a sudden, that's like this guy was really bashing me a week or two. I've been watching his profile, then all of a sudden, boom, he's got his compound bow. And he's in Kansas, and here comes this really big buck, and he draws back. 37 seconds later, he shoots the deer.
Not a lot of primitive in that. is there?
Ah, come on now. Oh, I had to draw the bow. Oh, my God. Yeah, 37 seconds before you let it fly. I shot a black with a recurve that was 67 pounds, and I shot that thing for decades. And I promise you, you won't hold it 3 seconds, much less 37.
The only people that have a right to gripe are the people who shot traditional.
Well, and they don't have a right to gripe as long as they're walking to where they hunt. Now, if they drive in a vehicle, and not a 1968 3 on a tree, but if they got one of these modern vehicles, why they got a right to gripe? If you're using any technology that gives you an edge to deer hunt, you have no reason to gripe about anybody and the technology they're using.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
think about how silly arguing about technology is.
Well, look,
It's ignorant.
we talked about this on something else before too, but really, if you're out there hunting, you shouldn't gripe it.
Right.
We all
Did anybody do with that? Look, we got enough people hounding us about, oh my gosh, they're shooting a little doe-eyed deer,
right.
That feeds a whole lot of people. We've got those people at us. We definitely don't need to be
I wish
griping
I wish all the
amongst
hunters.
ourselves.
I wish all the hunters. I don't care if you're a squirrel hunter, frog catcher. I don't care what you do in the outdoor industry or in the outdoor woods. Enjoy it and encourage everyone else to enjoy it the way they want to enjoy it. And if you want to beat them over the head with a stick, I don't care what kind of tree you got your stick out of. I don't care. It don't matter. I don't care if you whittled it or you had a guy cut it on the lathe. Technology, I mean, think about it. Look at the technology we're using right here to do this, what we're doing tonight. This didn't exist when I was a kid. They had TV and all that stuff, but nothing like.
They had the cam with the string on it.
Yeah.
Breaker.
We'll go and we'll get those next time.
You know, I just want people really to just get excited about what you're doing and how you're doing it. Take a kid hunting, take an old man hunting, do something. Take a girl, take your wife, take your just go enjoy it and not be so butthurt about what somebody else has got. Yeah. You know, there's a guy, and he's killed probably more Boone and Crockett's than anybody, and he's killed more 200-inch deer than anybody. And yes, he grew up rich. But you know what? Good for him.
Talking about
good for him.
Talking about old Spook Nation.
I'm talking about Spook.
Yeah, that's
I don't care if people like him or dislike him. I'm not jealous that his daddy had all that sawmill money and Spook can go pay $50,000 if he's got that hit list. If somebody can find him at 200, they pay $50,000, whatever the number is. I don't care.
Yeah, and you shouldn't.
I'm excited for Spook.
Yeah.
I'm glad for him.
More power to you.
You know, and if you're the guy that's hunting in Breezy Hill and you get to shoot a spike every year,
good
dude,
for you.
I'm excited for you.
Yeah.
If you're excited, I'm excited.
Yeah.
But leave all that other stuff over there in the liberal aisle and leave me out of it.
I think there are some things that like within reason, but the crossbows, and I know it's kind of what started this topic. It's no doubt it's going to be very unpopular for me to say this. I don't give a crap if you shoot a vertical crossbow. I don't give a crap if you shoot a brand new Matthews lift. I don't care I don't care what you do. You can go do it. We were at TAC. I think I told you maybe, but we were at an archery event in Arkansas, Broken Bow, Oklahoma, 2 years ago. Whenever it was, we were there, and a lady was going around getting petitions signed, trying to get Oklahoma to not, because they may push it through, but the crossbow, you had to be disabled to shoot it. And she was going up. Nobody wants to tell somebody no. And a lot of people are followers. And so if you have a group out there and thousands of people and most of them are going through and signing it, everybody's going to start signing. One person signs it, it's going to trickle effect domino. Everybody's going to sign it. And she got to me and she asked me, she's like, hey, here's what we're doing. Would you want to sign? Can you sign this? And I was like, no, ma'am. I said, not being rude, I don't care what gets people out in the outdoors. As long as you're not throwing dynamite and killing 50 deer at a time, I don't care if it was with a fixed broadhead, nocturnal,
it don't matter.
Standard plastic knock, crossbow. I don't care if you
cedar shafts, carbon arrows, don't matter.
It doesn't matter. If it gets you out there, man, go watch Fox News if you want to get to bickering on stuff. Like, we're trying to freaking hunt and enjoy God's creation a little bit, not go and sign petitions at a dang archery event. I was out on that.
Well, I mean, probably should have left her off the side of the mountain.
Well, it's like you said, the guys that, shoot traditional archery, well, unless they're napping their own rocks and cutting their own willow, I mean, where do you cut off technology, Mm-hmm. I mean, even the recurves of today, look at that recurve I shot with Black Widow, even built in the 80s, how much more phenomenal that bow was compared. I mean, that was like the Rolls Royce of bows when they come out with those Gray Ghost 2s.
And they were fast.
Oh, my God. And I think we shoot 190 feet per second.
And that was fast.
That was quick.
But look, I want to talk about something. And we've been sitting here talking about it, and it's been glaring at me. I want to talk about the grunt call. You and your your good friends come up with.
There you go.
Look, this
just grunts, no gimmicks.
Years ago when I was younger, we watched, I can't even tell you who it was on TV back in those days. It wasn't even on TV. It was on VHS. And it was a friction call, and it was
called the clicker.
Is that what it was called?
Yeah, I just thought about that. When you said that, it triggered that in my mind, the clicker.
It was not a long piece of plastic, but it had ridges on it, sort of like this tube, but it was small in diameter. And this cat was out there in the snow, and there were deer running, and he took this clicker and went down those ridges, and it made a clicking sound. It was anyway. And those deer came, and I'm talking about came up to him within 15 yards. He's standing out there in dark camo. This is in the white snow. And I said, holy cow. So I've gone through, name them. I have gone through a pile of, I got a pile of in my backpack right now, trying to replicate that
sound.
Clicking. I've not, until you showed me this, and you said nothing about that. You said it, and you said, "Hey, blow this and try." And so me and Ryan, we opened it up and blew it, and it had that clicking sound.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
All right.
Oh, sweet. Instead of it's click, it's a rigid click instead of consecutive.
So you just blow it just like a normal grunt call.
It doesn't take a lot of. It doesn't
Yeah, don't. It's not a duck call.
Yeah.
Every now and then you hear that buck roar, and only certain times of the year do you hear that.
But you hear that 365.
You hear that every day in the woods.
Now,
So is that the clicking of?
no. Here's what I want you to do. Go too fast.
So not like a duck
Not
feeder
like
call. Like that.
You're getting it, but you're not there yet.
Yeah, it's close. A little.
Cup it up some too. See, when a deer is tending grunt is what it's called. He goes, cluck, 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 cluck. He's just, every time his feet hits the ground, he's
Something about like that.
But
Yeah.
when a fawn and a doe is right underneath you, when they're that close, have you heard
hear
it?
'em. You can
You
hear
heard that little clicking, but I mean, you barely hear it.
they can hear it.
But a deer over here at 30 yards, he heard it fine because he's over there looking at. But I'm telling you that clicking. I'm more excited about that right there than
Let me tell you about this grunt call, and I'm gonna mention the guy's name, Preston Pittman. He's well known in the turkey calling industry. I told Preston, because we've been friends, real close friends for 40 something years, and we've hunted together, traveled together, filmed together. We've cried together, been happy. We've done it all together. And you'll have to get him to tell you his first story of hunting West Texas with me or South Texas with me. And, cause I was there, I lived it, but nobody can tell a story like Preston Pittman and put the emotion in it that he can. But I told Preston, I said, we've got to develop a grunt call that works. I said, I'm not trying to have a button that you can make 40 different sounds with. I'm not trying to, just grunts, no gimmicks. We just want a grunt call. And if you got a grunt call that grunts, you can click on it. You can tend grunt on it. You can roar on it. And something else I ain't told you about it. What if you turned it around and held?
Do it. That's actually that's it.
How many of
I
them?
hadn't even done it. That's it.
Is that closer to the like the cadence? or just
what I'm after is just that. To the. That's it. I'm telling you,
Dude, that's
what
money. That's money.
what the doe does.
That's
hear
right.
underneath.
But it's not
the talking.
long. It's a short.
It's short.
Right.
And then when we watch bucks chasing does, it's almost like every step pushes out a little bit of air or something.
is that's that clicking like you're talking
Yeah,
about?
that's exactly it. And I hadn't told everybody everything that call to do, because then people get all, well, why didn't it do that? And why didn't it? Listen, just grunts, no gimmicks.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it does have the.
But we tune every call before we ship it.
So he is saying, don't touch the band.
It's already,
Well, he's talking about the reed up and down in the.
but that call is tuned perfectly before we ship it. I will not tune a call. I will not ship a call unless I would personally sit on a tree with it myself. And you
No
being
wonder you hadn't hunted a whole lot. You've been tuning dead gum grunt calls
Oh,
all summer long.
well, I had and you know what's funny? Preston's been laid up for he broke his ankle. He's been laid up for 2
Pull that
months.
mic into you just a touch.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can extend it
All
out.
right, anyway, yeah, sorry about that mic
No,
failure.
you're great.
But I had the leg surgery and he broke his ankle, and we both been we just been enjoying deer seeding over the telephone right now and sending each other pictures because we both got a lot of trail cameras out there, and we'll send each other pictures every morning, and other guys start sending us pictures, and we're sharing it all over, and here's the exciting time of the year for me. There's a few of us that'll run cameras 365, and we'll get pictures. I'll tell you when a buck will not go to to a scrape. I have found sheds and scrapes, but that short window of time before his antlers come back, I'd love for somebody to get me that picture right before, when he's just got pedicles there, before his antlers start coming back. That's the only time I hadn't got a buck deer on camera. Now, does, it don't matter if it's shed time, whatever time, they come.
But you're talking about other than at a feeder.
I'm talking about at a scrape.
Yeah.
I'm talking about scrapes. Feeders, that's just whatever. I developed that for feeders because a lot of guys love feeders, and I wanted to give somebody a good product. But here's the thing. But when you start watching those bucks grow at a scrape, April, May, June, July, and then all of a sudden you start seeing those deer move areas, and you start walking with them and moving those scrapes and keeping up with your herd and seeing exactly what you're doing and where their winter pattern is and where their summer pattern is and where their fall pattern is, and you start moving with deer like that, it's going to change your whole perspective.
I can't wait to
Dude,
go
I'm
and
telling
move some
you,
trail cameras.
honest to God, I wish I could take what me and a couple of guys have figured out over all these years. Because I'm not no genius. I don't have Spook's pants money, and I don't regret him. I hope he kills another 20 Boone and Crockett deer.
Right.
Okay. But I know this: you can drop me off anywhere there's a white-tailed deer, and I'll get him on a scrape that I make. I don't care what state. And one of my favorite places to hunt in the United States, where they got the smallest racked white-tailed deer, is 90 miles north of Miami, Florida, where you hunt the Seminole whitetails. And the world record Seminole is 122 inches. I killed one a couple years ago, it was 80, and everybody in town was like flipping out. And I got him on film, and we were hunting, guess where?
Hunting over a scrape.
Hunting over a scrape in an orange grove.
Orange Grove.
Yeah. And the first Seminole whitetail, I got a page on Facebook called Mock Scrape Nation. Anybody wants to join, please join it. We got thousands of pictures that we post on there, not just me, but people all over the country. Hundreds and hundreds of success stories of people killing deer and posting their pictures. And we talk about scrapes. And that's what only thing we talk about.
Mock Scrape Nation.
Mock Scrape Nation.
I appreciate you sharing that with me.
Yeah.
I've invited you to Mock Scrape Nation on Facebook.
Oh, on Facebook.
He didn't know how to work Facebook.
Dude,
That's awesome.
I just look.
He just found out how to turn his flashlight on his phone. So
Okay. Yeah,
Don't take that.
I'm a little bit ahead of him, but not much. I still ain't got I ain't got TikTok figured out and all that YouTube stuff. I wish I did, because I got a lot of content. But
We're going to help you out with that.
Mr. Dan, at one point you told me, and this was a while ago, you had said something about a doe, and it pertained to a doe and a scrape. But maybe a doe doesn't always pee in the scrape, but maybe a certain time of year or something, she'll pee around the scrape.
when they're going in the rut, they're going to come into that. That's kind of communication. Community, it's the social media. They're going to come in and pee in that area so that buck cruising that area is going to pick that up. Even though she's going to run like crazy and be a female, play hard to get, but she's still going to let everybody know what's going on.
Is that us?
That's us, baby.
Boy, I can find it.
How long did that take you to type that in and find it on Facebook?
Well, after I figured out you hit the search thing there, not very long.
So
It popped right up.
What you're saying, I'm about to learn something. So what you're saying is you don't put any, we're going to call it dough in heat. You're not putting any dough in heat or
I don't put it in the scrape. I will, like I said, drag rag in, hang it up.
Yep.
See, everybody, all the scent industry promotes and because customers want it, and everybody wants to sell what the customer wants, but everybody focuses on rut scent, dough and esters, go da-da-da, mine's frozen, mine ain't frozen, mine comes straight out of her and through a catheter or whatever. It don't matter. Because if you use it at the wrong time, you might as well be in the tree blowing a bugle. But how long is the rut in Bienville? How long, seriously, how many days a year are the rut?
2.5 weeks at the most from the.
Well, it depends. I mean, every 28 days.
Well, you got first rut, second rut to the I'll bet. But let's talk about your main first whole rut. 20 days?
I've not seen it that long.
Well,
but I paid it.
All right, let's say
in Union Parish. I've seen them start.
All right, Richard. Richard, I'm gonna let you pick the number. Pick a number. How many days?
Sure enough, at it.
17, 14, 13?
Yeah, 14, 15.
Okay, 15 days. Okay. That means you got 350 days a year to use other scent and 15 days a year to use the estrus product. Why are you going to focus your scent on a 15-day deal when you can already have all your scrapes, all your intel, all your wind directions, all your things figured out to maximize that 15 days? Estrus scent is a very targeted market. The rest of it is what you can do. I mean, think about it. What if you had a camera, and I can show you pictures, that all of a sudden you got bucks in April Fool's Day, July the 4th, Cinco de Mayo. How many people are really thinking about scrapes that day? Okay,
I will moving forward, but I haven't up until
that's exactly
up until
right.
this day.
Yeah.
But what kind of hunter could you become if you just took 1 year of your life and focused on nothing but your properties, scrapes, moving scrapes, finding that perfect spot, and identifying those 3 or 4 super spots on your property that during that 15 days you could be the assassin? That's why I wore this shirt tonight. This is my kill shirt. I've killed some serious critters wearing this shirt. The biggest whitetail I ever killed, I killed wearing this shirt. The biggest Cape buffalo I ever killed.
I thought that was that lion he killed. Did you hear
I
that
did hear
motorcycle?
something. What was that?
That's that lion coming back to
Actually, I
get
thought
him.
that was music. He was building it up, and I thought that was the music coming up behind it.
Yeah, a lion. I shot a lion wearing this shirt. I've shot a crocodile wearing this shirt.
You said a 14-foot crocodile too.
Yeah, he's good.
Good night.
Yeah, with a bow, vertical crossbow.
Nice.
And I've killed 2 Cape buffalo with it, both with a shot. So I don't know. It just, you told me something when you called and asked me to do this. You remember what you told me? No, you do. Remember, and nobody's ever, and it struck me funny, but it's one of the best compliments I ever had. You said I was the guy that's what? Like on that Dos Equis, I'm not a beer drinker.
Oh, no. You like that?
Yeah.
The most interesting man in the world.
Dude,
Absolutely.
I'm not that guy. I just been, the good
You
Lord.
are in our world.
The good Lord is just.
Yes.
Sorry?
I said you are at Spotted Dog.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, I just, I wanted to do something like this, and I did it. And my daddy always said, you can do anything you're willing to walk out and go do. And now I'm getting to, really go do some unbelievable hunting. And yeah, I will shoot a rhino with a bow at some point if I live long enough and one of these other critters don't get me. But I don't even know how to explain the adrenaline rush of hearing a lion roar at you, knowing you're there. Here they come. You're 20 yards, and they told me, they said, only 2% at most ever get 100% bow kill on the line, and I did. I got, no, they didn't have to shoot it.
How many have you taken?
I've only shot one line.
Oh, just the one?
Yeah.
I mean, that's plenty, but that's. But I'm going to tell you what, that's something that the adrenaline has to be pumping because you do something wrong, it goes south.
The whole story is, my wife's with us, and we got 2 backup shooters, the main PH. We're going in the tracker, and all of a sudden the tracker peels off. The line's coming. The only thing between me and that line is my arrow, and he stops at 30 yards behind a bush, and the PH is right here talking to me, and he's like, "Okay, whichever side he comes out, just send it. You got him." I said, "Okay." And all of a sudden, my wife hollers, "Look it to the right." Look. She's standing behind all of us. Okay? She goes, "Look to the right, Brendan, look to the right." That's our PH's name. And here come another big male line. Well, all of a sudden, these 2 lines at 30 yards are having a fight in front of us. We had to back out, obviously. You ought to see 2 male lines at 30 yards in a cat fight.
Oh,
we got on that track at 10 o'clock that morning. I shot that line at 3:30 that afternoon. We had to go in and out and in and out.
So they got through let them calm down a little bit?
Oh, we went in several times, and they were 2 dominant lines trying to, and come to find out when we figured this out as the day went on, trying to get a shot, they were fighting over a kill. They'd killed a blessed buck. And one time we stalked in, you could hear them breaking the bones while they were eating. You're talking about a sound. They're sitting there just crushing bones, and they're eating this blessed buck. And we were I got 20 yards from them when they were eating. And the big line, the one I'm trying to kill, and he's telling me, "Okay, left to right," whichever, because he's facing away from us eating. And when he stands up, instead of turning left to right, he walks straight away, and I couldn't shoot again. We had to back out. But
so you're not, all right, come on, let's follow him.
No, because there's 2 lines there, and I mean, you could be the next meal.
Yeah.
So we had to back out. And the whole crazy thing is, and I don't really want to get off on this, but I was supposed to shoot the line the year of COVID. Everything gets shut down, and then finally I got my permit reissued. And then, long story short, when I get to Africa to go shoot this line or go line hunting, my PH meets me at the airport and said, "I got some great news and I got some bad news." Because first of all, they didn't want me to use the vertical bow. So we went through all kind of crap. Then they didn't like my broadhead. Then they didn't like this. So I get over there. I'm going on a 10-day line hunt, right? We get into the airport in Joburg. We go out, get all of our stuff. We meet in our PH. He walks up. "I got great news and I got bad news." He says, "They've approved your bow. They've approved your broadhead. You're ready to go. But the only downside is they're giving you 1 day to make this hunt." And the bad news on that is we got a 12-hour drive to get to the Kalahari Desert tonight. So we drive all night. I get there in time right before daylight to take a shower, get my gear together, and we go line hunting.
Who is this that's so strict? The government?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So oh my God, they videoed me signing the line permit, and it looks like an old time. He won't know what I'm talking about. He probably won't. Remember an old New York phone book? About that page after page, you signing off. You're not liable, this, that. I mean, you signing your life away to go shoot a line. And then you go walk in front of them. And the beautiful thing, right before we left to go hunting that morning, they showed me a video of a guy they had there the week before. He shot it with a 4.16, and the line attacked him and got him before they could kill it.
Good Lord.
With a 4.16.
Yeah.
Have you seen a 4.16
Absolutely.
casing? Yeah.
Like a 4.16 Rigby or something.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was. Yeah.
It's that big a range.
And I'm going out there with a 6-pound vertical bow and a broadhead.
I'm sure that PH.
But
absolutely. Come on, Bo man.
No, he's sitting there with a 460, and I got a 450 over here, and what did that other guy have? I don't forgot what he had. But I mean, they got the firepower, and I've been in dangerous situations with the PH. I would. That's something if people ever go to Africa, you got to really, if you're going to dangerous game, plains game's one thing, but if you're going to dangerous game hunt, you're literally putting your life on the line, and you're asking that guy to stand in front of you if you get charged.
Yeah.
So you got to really think about that. And I'd buffalo hunted with him in some other dangerous game, and I knew that if anything went bad, that you know,
He's going to step in for
he's
you.
going to step in, and that's just the way it is. And you got to get out of their way when it goes to. But anyway, when I hit the line, you can actually hear this guy over here. The second line was coming to us. He was coming in. And I'm so focused on the line I'm fixing to shoot because he's at 21 yards, and they're calling, he's 21 now, Mr. Dan, he's 21. And I said, okay. He says, tell us when you're going to shoot. I said, fire in the hole. I shot. And that line, he just jumped up, he roared, he spun around, and then that line went to him. And now I got a crippled line in a fight with So they go on the radio hollering at the truck. The truck come running in, gets between the line. My wife's in the truck, and the line runs. The line I didn't shoot, the other line, he runs up there and just slaps the hood of that truck, freaking everybody. All this on foot. I mean, and anyway, so they get that line run off. So we have to back. We don't even get to take pictures of nothing right there. And it's an adrenaline rush like crazy. And so we get the truck in there and we throw the line. We drive like 5 miles away from it down through the Kalahari Desert to get away from that whole pride line so that we can get out and do pictures and everything. And
even in the truck, they were part of that whole thing.
It's unbelievable just to experience an animal like that. Because let me tell you something. I've been up close to elephants. I shot an elephant with a rifle. What was that? I don't know, 2012, whatever it was. And I was literally about from here to that boar hog that you got on the wall right there. And that wasn't near the rush.
That's too close for comfort.
That wasn't near the rush that this was.
And I know we
got off chasing.
But what I'm fixing to say too, because there's going to be somebody on here, I'm telling you, because they're negative Nancy's already, But people got to understand when someone goes over and pays that kind of money to go shoot that animal,
the economy.
That's exactly right. It throws all that money into the economy. That's in these parks, whatever. That's why they have these animals is to pay. Is to go into that economy.
It's their economy. And you're taking an older.
Oh yeah,
all right. You got to shoot 12 to 14-year-old line. He's out there. He's there. The other lines are fixed to kill him. They watch these lines, okay? And now people go, well, I bet he was in a pen. Yeah, he was. The pen he was in is 750,000 acre farm. Now, if you want to call that a pen, well, he was in a pen, but it was only 750,000. And out of that, I got to hunt a 28,000 acre section that they rotate those sections, and they'll only take one male out of each section like every other year or so. So, you're not hurting the population by shooting, but the money. But the most touching thing at the end of the line hunt, when we finally get the line, all the pictures done, we get back to the lodge, and these group of African women were there, and they were dressed in their traditional, like their Sunday go to best. And those people over there don't have shoes. And they come in there and they pop the champagne. I don't drink, but, hey, I just shot a line. I'm going to have a glass of champagne with my wife and the PH and celebrate this hunt. And then those women started singing a song of praise because we had donated the meat to their village.
That's awesome.
And I'm getting emotional just thinking about seeing those people and how appreciative they were to get lion meat. Now, they grilled us up a piece of it because I wanted to taste it because I'm not going to shoot anything I'm not going to taste and eat. And it tasted like dry pork. It's exactly what it tastes like. It tasted like a pork chop that didn't have no fat on it, okay? And I found it to be tasty. And then all that meat went to that village, and everything we've shot over there has been donated to families or villages that need the meat. And then the money, obviously, just the line tag, $3,500 went into the, to the government, for all that
and also,
stuff.
there's probably a pretty good portion of that going towards conservation efforts
It's
as
all
well.
good. It's a lot of money goes into conservation.
Well, you shoot an animal that's more of the plains game or a larger animal like a hippopotamus or elephant or something like that, that feeds
hundreds.
Okay.
Hundreds.
And they eat everything from the rooter to the
Go ahead and say what you want to say.
That's what I'm gonna say.
The first time I was over there with a buddy of mine, and he killed an elephant, and we were in Mozambique with the Maputo tribe. Now it's on. You talk about in the Stone Age. We was in the Stone Age, and we did all of our pictures and everything, and then they started butchering it right there where he laid down. And 4 hours later, there wasn't nothing but a wet spot, and hundreds of people come out of the bush. And every person there, they don't have sacks or bags. They all had cloths. And every person got a proportionate put of meat in their cloth, and they tie it up, and they put a stick in it, and they walk away.
I'll be darned.
That's awesome.
The most, I got to tell this story because this was my first trip into Africa a long time ago. And my buddies told me, we're going to hit some villages and y'all need to buy candy. Candy? Okay, whatever. We'll do it, whatever. So we went buying kind of like their Walmart over there, and we bought bags of candy. And we'd hit those villages, and we'd stand in the back of the truck and hand out candy. And them kids, they'd get up and speak that whatever tribal language they'd speak, and I don't understand it, blah, 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 whatever. And here came kids running. And they'd run up there and get in a line. And when it's their turn, they walked up there like this with their head down, their hand up. And you'd put a piece of candy in their hand, they'd take off. And I got to watching those kids eat that candy. It was the most amazing thing I ever saw. Just shocked me. Those kids would meticulously open up that little bitty piece of candy. Because they don't have Snicker bars over there. Like they got their little candies are like.
Come on, like a hard candy or
salt, like Snicker bar type, peanut type, chocolate type candy. I don't know what they call it, but it wasn't as sweet as ours. Didn't have near the sugar in it. And they'd open up those little pieces of candy. They'd take it out. They'd take a bite. They'd stick it back in the wrapper, roll it up, take off running. Sugar was so rare to those people. Chocolate was so rare to those people. They just didn't gobble it down and run back for more. They'd take their piece of candy and savor it.
Holy cow.
I'd love to take a group of kids over there and watch those kids. Another thing that really blew me away, the kids, they don't want you Coca-Cola. They want the can so they can make something out of it and sell it.
It's a different world.
Well, if I don't make you appreciative of what
Oh, bro, that's when I fell in love with Africa. And matter of fact, and I don't care if people know this or not, but me and some other guys got together after a couple of trips over there, and we sponsored a couple of wells being dug in Mozambique for people to have clean, because they don't have no well digging machines over there, and water's only like 30 feet deep. The water they drink would kill you or me. So you drill a well and get them water in those villages. It's amazing what a few American dollars will do to change people's lives.
Yeah, we have something like that at our church that they go, and it's not just wells, but it's food, it's shoes, it's shelters, it's
shelters.
That's
right.
It's a lot of different stuff. But
the big deal at North Monroe.
You're talking about what, $400 and something thousand, I think, or something.
Wesley Foundation.
But
yes, that's folks
you got to go see it.
Yeah,
Richard, when we going?
You got to go see it.
I don't know. Well, look, I know we're getting kind of
way off the base.
We are.
We've been kind of late in.
We've been running for a while. This is definitely going to be our longest podcast yet. Everyone's still listening.
You may have to make two out of it.
I do want to go over one thing. I would love to hear your opinion on this. If we just had just a few minutes to go over it, that's fine. We can wrap up, and we can talk about some of the fishing and some of the other stuff later. You're going to be on here 1,000 more times. What are your thoughts? You're in the attractants. And you've hit on it a little bit, but stuff like scent killer gold. No, that's scent killer. So you got your scent killer, dead wind, and then nose jammer, and then scent thief. You have those different things. I would love, and again, you don't have to go on forever about it. I'd love to hear your thoughts on some of that.
Knowing what I know is going to get me in trouble. There's a lot of decent products out there, and I'm just going to say decent products out there. I was introduced to something over 20 years ago that's not really, it's a little bit of it out there on the market, but you got to know how to go get it. Now, I think taking good, clean showers and scent-free soap and stuff like that, I think, that's just common sense you want to do. Because anytime, and I don't know what the parts per million, I forget. at one time I knew it, and I forgot all those numbers because I got too much other stuff in my head. But there's so many parts per million of scent particles that once it gets to that level, it triggers a deer. If you get it below that level, he might think you're 500 yards away, and I think that's what nose jammer and some of those guys are trying to do it. Are trying to accomplish, because if you could delete that amount of scent going into the nose, where they don't figure that out, I think, they're heading in the right direction. But I think there's, if you want me to say it, because we talked earlier, I'll talk about what I personally use. I use something called chlorine dioxide, and it's to a level of clean that most of the products out there aren't. And you can turn it into a gas or to a liquid. I gas all of my clothes.
What do you mean you gas all your clothes?
Like put everything I got in the closet, boots, clothes, everything. And you activate this stuff and just shut the door. A lot of these companies have these little
closets.
Yeah, closets. And I got an old fashioned open the door, close the closet, hang up all my stuff in there, and that way.
These portable closets.
Yeah, but these portable closets, you could do it in that, and you turn it into a gas, and it kills to a molecular level that nothing else out there can.
More so, even like that ozone machine.
Yes.
Really? Wow.
Without the side effects.
Say the word again.
Chlorine dioxide. Now you got to learn. You just don't go run on Amazon or any of these companies and make it and buy it. And you got to have a little education in how to use it, because you can way overdo it real quick. But you can take a few tablets of it, drop it in a spray bottle, and spray it on your clothes, spray it on yourself. It's not a bleach, and eliminate odors. But I think if you really treat your clothes well with it, it's because if you gas it, it's going to stay in your clothes longer. And as if you go out there and run a marathon, obviously nothing's going to, there's a point of no return on anything. But you can wash your clothes in it. You can wash your boots in it. You can gas your boot. You can take this. I'll tell you the most impressive thing I've ever seen it do. The most impressive. Do you know what whole shrimp smell like if they left in the trunk of a car in July in Louisiana?
Yes. Yeah.
How about over the weekend?
Oh, man.
Okay. Once you discard that and get rid of that, and you treat it with a chlorine gas, within 24 hours, it'll smell like a brand new car.
Holy cow.
So are you getting just say like this, getting that bottle, putting a couple tablets in it, putting some water, shaking it up maybe, and then taking the top off and leaving it and letting it just kind of fizz or bubble, whatever it does? That's what I wash my clothes in. But everything else I gas. So, but that's not what you're talking about, gassing like that.
Yeah. How do you make the gas?
How you make the gas is, I take like a cup, I get a paper towel, fold it up, wet it, drop it at the bottom of the cup, take like 10 of those tablets, drop it in there, set it at the bottom of the closet, shut the door. You're immediately going to smell it. And then a few hours later, everything is all germs are dead. Chlorine dioxide in the right solution will kill anthrax. It kills to a molecular level way beyond anything you've ever seen.
Holy cow.
Can you use it to clean up your kitchen as well?
You can. It was designed to clean the food industry. Every meat packing company in America has to clean all their stainless equipment with some solution of chlorine dioxide. So every beer company, every meat company, meat packing plant, they all have some solution of chlorine dioxide. And it won't burn you. Now, if you're making the gas and you smell in the cup, it's going to burn your nose real bad.
Talk about that. So that smell that gas smells like what?
Chlorine dioxide. I don't know. It's got a chlorine type smell to it.
Is it a pungent? Is it a?
Oh, it's stout. It's stout.
So it smells almost like pool chlorine.
But it's got but it's got a different effect.
It'll remind you of it, maybe?
Yeah.
Then will your clothes smell like that chlorine?
Absolutely not.
Or it dissipates?
It dissipates.
So you said for the first few hours, maybe it may smell if you gas it.
What you do is let's say you're going hunting in the morning, put everything in the closet this afternoon, tomorrow morning, take it all out. It's fresh. It's ready to go.
Okay.
how long do you swap out when you're gassing tablets? Like we're about to go on that hunt over at Mississippi River. So if you wanted to go and take the little portable closet and we wanted to gas our
Every night.
So you put new tablets in every night?
Every night.
Okay.
Every night, because it's relatively inexpensive and it's real portable and it's real easy to use.
We got to get some more information on that.
We may even have to have a private label on that.
No.
Spotted dog chlorine dioxide.
Well, you don't want to tell everybody your secrets, but spotted dog dead upwind or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Forget the wind, just hunt.
Just hunt.
Well, remember, wind's your friend. I want the wind.
Yeah. Well, we've had some awesome information. Again, we've been rolling over 2 hours. Even
What?
had a pee break in there. It is. What's my watch is going? It's 8.
Straight.
I know. I'm ready to go make it straight.
Look, I'm telling you, the next off day, that's what we're going to do.
I'm trying to take you to Kansas with me next week or the week after next when we get back from Mississippi. You
How long
said,
we going to be gone?
well, you asked when we wanted to go. Look, I'm telling you, I would love to take you up there. We got Grant Woods to come up there shortly after we got this property. It's 260 acres. And it's a really nice piece of ground, but my father-in-law got Grant Woods to come down, and he did some stuff. Dude's great. I think he's very knowledgeable. But I'm telling you, the information I've gotten from this conversation, I hope that it reciprocates with everybody else as much as it has with me. I'm ready to go back and check my trail cameras and not only look at pressure and temperature on different things, but
the wind.
But
See when you're
See where the moon was.
see where the moon was.
See when your bucks are moving on the wind. Don't look at the time. Look at the wind speed. Look at where the moon was.
About to go get an almanac.
All right, I bet I'm in.
And an old school, I'm telling you what, an old school almanac and a topo map and a compass is what taught me everything I know today.
Yeah.
And we didn't have all these push button gadgets, widgets and gadgets. We had to figure it out. And I honest to God wish they would have classes like this to go teach people today, just the basic, because once you learn that basic information and then you get out there and you see it, using these gadgets I think it even gives you a bigger edge. I really do. Yeah. I really think it gives you a bigger edge.
Yeah, well, it's an aid, and you know how to use it right, it'll work. We again, back to the thing we talked about, back to the basics. I know we mentioned that earlier, but that's something we've been talking about. I'd love to have you back on. I would love if you wanted to come up. I know you got a 4 or 5 hour drive or whatever it is, but you come back up and we'd come down to you. We bring your stuff down there, but if you came up, we'd go maybe do some hunting or do whatever. But I'd love to spend a good majority of the day and do an episode just talking about scrapes and just talking about the moon.
Let me tell you a podcast.
Maybe even have it to where we're out in the a day.
That's what I was going to say. I tell you what, a podcast, because I watch a lot of podcasts and I listen to all these big deer hunters. And hey, let me tell you something. All these big deer hunters that I watch, and I don't watch them all, but I watch a lot of the known people out there. When you got the property hunt that they hunt, I would like to get them to come to go to Grant Parish or Bienville Parish and hunt some public land and show me some of these 200-inch deer and 180-inch deer that you're riding around. And, well, I got to go talk to this farmer, and I got to go do this, and here's the untold secret of how to hunt all these private land. Let's come on down here to get you some of this piney woods hunting. Because first of all, you ain't gonna drive around and see no deer because the woods is too thick.
Yeah.
And second of all, that briar patch is going to wipe you out.
Yeah. When down here in the South, when we talk about a bedding area, when there's a 250 acre cutover, on the edge of some hardwood with that, you go find him in that bedding area.
Yeah.
Switching to turkey hunting a little bit, I grew up hunting turkeys before turkey hunting got cool, and I'm glad I did. But, when I left Louisiana and started hunting these other states, I literally was like,
shoot them off.
What kind of turkey is this? Y'all
are these turkeys that stupid?
Yeah.
Now today with all the hunting pressure and everything, the turkeys has gotten smarter too. But I'm telling you, when I first started hitting the road way back there and started shooting turkeys, and some of these, and as far as I know, and Preston Pittman and a lot of people can back this up. I'm the first guy ever to shoot a double grand slam in a single season on public land, 1993.
It's a long time ago.
That's when I was born.
I shot a double grand slam. I got in my truck. I drove to Florida. I killed 2 birds. And I just drove across the United States and I killed 8 turkeys,
Wow.
2 of each. Well, I ended up killing more turkeys that year, but I was going to kill a double grand slam. Because, see, Preston and I had a bet that year that he could kill a double grand slam before I could kill one. Well, he beat me by a week. He hunted private land. I hunted public.
That's awesome.
But I challenge anybody to just do. I don't care if you do it on public or private. Go shoot a double grand slam in one season.
I'm gonna tell you, around here at the house, it's hard killing a dang eastern around the house all season long
Yeah.
On private
ground under a feeder.
when you're the only one when
did
you're
a lot of
only
walking.
under the
Now.
feeder. There you go.
I'm gonna throw this at you. Can you spit and drum?
No, sir, not.
Can you? Can you?
No, not like a turkey.
not like a
That's the
turkey.
best turkey call made. Period.
I can't. I try. I can't do it. Not quite
Somebody
like a turkey.
tried to come out with that. I don't remember if it was Mad Calls or somebody.
They've
had
all
a-
the only one that ever worked. I had and I wore it out, and I wish I lost the thing. Loman back in the 70s, before they got bought out and everything, they had a spit and drum call that was absolutely perfect, and I can't tell you the birds that died over that call. But all this modern renditions of it, none of them have got
You
it.
got to get that tone. You've got to get.
You've
that
got to hit that tone, because once you hit that, when you hit that just right, I don't care if he's in the piney woods and 40 people have shot at him, he's coming.
It's almost, you don't hear it, you feel it. And that's
You feel it. That's
yeah,
it.
that's
And you
It's
do.
almost deafening. Like
And,
Oh,
and
dude.
turkeys have a community scrape like deer do. That's another I ain't even going down
we'll
that
get
road.
it. Talking about like dusting.
Turkeys, I've taught classes. I've done seminars on this. A turkey has 5 to 7 strut zones that he runs like a mailman, but he don't run the same route every day. If he did, they'd be too easy to kill. Once you, matter of fact, Kenny that died here this year did an article on me a few years ago, Louisiana Sportsman.
Mr. Kenny
Haddix.
Addicts. Yeah.
He did an article about how I've been very blessed turkey hunting and how I scout turkeys. And I don't scout for roost, I scout for strut zones, because how many times have you hunted a turkey, knew where he roosted, he got down, and he went with the hens? I'm going to be where he's going. And I figured out how to find that place.
We're gonna save that to the back to the basics turkey hunting.
Dude, I'm telling you what.
That's where that feeder comes in.
Nah,
Yeah, he's coming to that
He's coming to
feeder
that feeder.
in a little while.
All that chopped corn.
Well, you can do it on public land, and I've proven it. Matter of fact, I've killed 2 banded turkeys on public land. One was 5 years old in Peason, and one was 8 years old in Dewey Wills.
Wow.
8-year-old. That's an old.
I didn't know they got that old.
I know this on our place. They get that old because
I mean, like I said, I've been blessed.
Yeah.
Been very blessed.
Boys,
right.
what do y'all think?
Dan, we appreciate you.
Oh,
Yeah, I
man,
appreciate
brother.
you.
Y'all don't know what.
We have really been looking forward to it. I know I have, and we kind of went to school tonight. Actually,
I mean, we christened the crap out of this podcast studio.
I hope.
But I think we just flaked the surface of it. Really,
You know, I had a guy the other day ask me, he says, what's your goal with all this? You know, do you want to build, are you trying to be another Tinks? I said, listen, none of that. That's not what motivates me. What motivated me all the years I guided, because think about this. Look at all the places I've been able to hunt. What if I'd have said, I'm not going to guide, I'm just going to hunt? I may be another spokesman. I don't know. I don't know, because it's not the road I chose. But the road I chose was to help people go be successful. And I want to be the guy in the scent industry that people go, wow, he was the first guy that really talked about glands, and he really wanted to help people be successful. I want everybody that buys this product to be successful. Now, is that going to happen? Probably not. And the reason it's not going to happen is most people are going to do it the wrong way. And that's just people. And a lot of guys, I mean, so many times guys go out, I made a scrape, nothing ever come. Oh, you made one. Okay, well, 100% of nothing is nothing. You know, you got to go do it. And I'm going to end, this is where I'm going to cut the line. Everybody wants to be great in life, no matter what you're doing, whether you're a store salesman, this, that, whatever you got, you know, your business, you know, podcast, everybody wants to be great. But before you're great, you got to become good. And before you're good, you got to become bad. And before you're bad, you got to start.
Yep. That's good advice. And regardless of
it don't matter what it is.
It doesn't matter what it is. That's awesome.
I think we go get some Paris restaurant after that.
Sounds like a plan, brother.
Yeah.
I hear your stomach growling over there. I don't know if that's that line or if that's his stomach. Well, look, we're about to cut out. Is there anything else that you got?
I said what I said.
Yep. So you already mentioned you're not great at TikTok, but clearly you do have some social media stuff, and we'll talk later tonight and tomorrow. There's some stuff that I want to do to help you out. That
I appreciate it.
We'd love to team up with you and help you with some content on some stuff. But
Mock Scrape Nation.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah, and it's actually on here. It says it on here. Join us on Mock Scrape Nation.
How many people read the bottle?
Let me tell you.
I get Cuz's cooter juice as far as I got.
That's it.
This is going to be my third season with this cooter juice. And the Seymour deer, the second season was Seymour deer. I didn't get it till last year, but I've never read. I read Cuz's. I see see your picture, cool design, and then the name of it, and that's it. I ain't looked at anything else. But yeah, join us at Mock Scrape Nation on Facebook. Yep. Go check it out. But
and that's where we post all of our. I mean, we just post hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pictures, and people, people get on there. I had a lady got on there this week. She made her first mock scrape and had a buck in it in 12 hours, and she was ecstatic because she had never had success at a scrape, never. And her first time out, and that's what it's all about. I mean, I just that to me is my success right there. That's it.
Well, that's just another reason to buy this product from you.
The other product is Critter Getter.
Yeah, and then the Rookum. All right. Appreciate you. I even had some cool stuff. I had something, just tell y'all real quick. If you need a good knife, first of all, you can buy every bit of this stuff online, SpottedDogSportingGoods.com. You can get it there. Free shipping of $99 more.
I like that
That's
widget.
a lot of cooter juice.
It's a lot of cooter juice. It'll last you a long time. You'd be able to, look, you spend $99 worth of cooter juice, those 4-ounce bottles, you ain't got to worry about leaving money to your kids. You got some cooter juice to leave them. It'll last you a while. Everybody needs a good flashlight. The one thing I hear about deer hunters that they leave, or hunters in general, is they go and they're low on batteries or they don't have another flashlight. The 2 is 1 and 1 is none kind of deal. But this is a stream light. It is the ProTac HL headlamp. It's 1,000 lumens, I believe is what it is. It's a little bit big, but I'm telling you, this is going to last for, I say hours. It lasts a long time.
Is that rechargeable?
It is. It's rechargeable right here on the bottom. It's waterproof.
Got the USB port.
Yep, and it has a red.
Cool.
So you change it if you want to, but everybody needs a good knife. And again, SpottedDogSportingGoods.com. Yeah, I just got some more of those in the other day, actually. I had quite a bit of them. Outdoor Edge, just any kind of knife, skinning knife, you need a good knife, and this has a replaceable blades on it. That one's great. And this, all your saddle hunting stuff, this is an Ascender, but all your saddle hunting stuff, SpottedDogSportingGoods.com. Some really cool deal.
Now, I'm going to tell you, in the last 2 weeks, we've had a run on that. And
the saddle stuff, that's that time of year.
It's ugly.
And I can remember when the America tree stand was the thing.
Well, right now, you say that. Right now, that's where this saddle stuff is right now. It's
technology
back when
as we
America started.
Yeah, as we develop, as technology develops.
Yeah. All right, thank you guys. We're about to go get some supper.
Enjoyed it. Ryan, appreciate you.
Yes, sir. I'm glad you were here, man.
Yeah. All right, we'll see y'all next time. Again, SpottedDogSportingGoods.com for all of your hunting, fishing needs and your cooter juice. Come on, get it, baby. All right, thank y'all. Bye.